No,
I
Half a ton?
didn't think it was.
half a ton. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Oh, I'm fancy.
Okay, welcome to the March 28th, 2024 joint meeting with the Select Board and the Budget Committee. If you all want to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So just real quick before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to remind everybody that our employees, our vendors, they all watch this. So if we could be very careful in how we talk about things, that would be excellent. Thank you. So to start off with, salaries and benefits. The Budget Committee voted 6-0 for $988,364. The difference, most of the difference is to add a part-time person for assessing. Budget Committee, do you want to add anything?
I was looking at this and I realized that the select board salary actually went down by $3,000.
Yes, it did.
Which I
They
thought was
decided to
really
take a
cool.
pay cut.
Yeah, so that led me to go, I'm like, oh wow, because I was going back and forth, what was going up and down. So then I had questions, it led me to questions about like ones that have barely gone up. Like I look at the animal control officer.
Correct.
And they work hard and they do a really good job for our town. We're very lucky to have the ACOs we have. And then I saw one that went up, unless I've lost my mind, it went up almost $2,000. Was it for, I was like,
The health inspector?
no, the planning board. Is that the right one or no?
Planning board?
5,100? And was it 38 before, 35 before?
Correct.
So out of the whole thing that leads me to too is like, why is it the only board that's paid? You have all kinds of other boards in the town as well. So, but just curious why there was that huge jump.
So right now, I'm looking at their third quarter, and they're over by $196. And we haven't even paid the fourth quarter yet for planning board. So I saw that coming and I increased it for the number of hours. Right now, today, I started putting together a list of number of hours that they've used in the past so that we can ask them why it's increased so much.
I think they're busier. Our town is busier. It's growing more. There's a lot more stuff going on building wise.
But like curious where that is in the charter, or how that was set and how it's set, how they're paid. Like, because you have other committees that do a lot of research and a lot of work as well. I mean, and no one else gets to this. Just curious where that came in, was instituted and decided. But again, like, so look at the ACO and how little they get for even a bump.
So the ACO I did a 3.2%
Yeah.
on the ACO.
Yep.
They also get some money from,
They get
some of the
mileage.
money that gets paid from the dog licenses goes towards some
No.
things,
No.
doesn't it? Did
No.
it used to be that way, or am I just?
So basically, the
Agreement.
state says X amount of dollars need to go into a special kitty for the dog licensing, to go towards animal control. But right now, I've looked at several years and you're spending more than what is going in the
Right.
kitty. And that's not just indicative to Lyman, that's indicative to a lot of the towns that we have.
Right.
So no, there's no additional monies.
But
other than
that's a
mileage.
big jump in my view. A couple thousand, that's, and I just didn't know why. And then like, so looking at how minimal they went up, and I understand that you applied the factors that you did. But again, we're lucky to have what we have there too. And I graciously thank the select board for going down in your salaries.
So for next year, we can start the conversation sometime in the middle of the year of why some committees get paid and why they don't. That's just been, since I've been here, I don't know how it started.
Yeah, I don't either.
So I'll put that on Lindsay's list to discuss with you guys early on, and you can have that conversation. Does that work for you?
Yep.
I don't see where you're referring to the planning board.
Right.
line. I'm missing it. Can you-
It's on the second page, page 2,
Third line.
the third line down. If you look at what they were paid, it was 3,580 and it's going up to 5,100.
I added additional hours.
Are they
Because-
hourly and not stipend?
They're hourly and they're, minimum wage. So minimum wage, as you know, as we've talked in both with you guys and with you guys, that is going up, cost of living, January 1st of every single year. So we know what the first 6 months will be. We don't know what the last 6 months will be. I figured in 4%. And I increased their number of hours because it looks like they're going to go over this year for their hours.
I don't remember in the past,
An hour.
paying that, so
Neither
I
do
don't
I.
know
I
how
don't
this came
remember.
into being.
No, that's why I'm curious why that's,
Since I've been.
because like charter,
I don't
when you're on
remember
charter,
it,
that's a
and I've
lot
been
of
in the
time,
budget.
a lot of research. And even on BungNet, we're researching all kinds of things. There's people that, and they're appointed, they're not elected. Budget, I don't think has ever been paid. Not that I care about getting paid, that's not why I do this, but just curious why one committee is being paid versus all the other ones that are part of the town. And I really don't think that's fair. Personal view.
So for an answer, I will put that on Lindy's list to add to conversations over the next year with the board, and see where they want to go with that. Are you okay with where we are right now?
I am.
Okay.
So can I bring up the salaries, extra time pay? So I see that it was,
It's page 3.
the top of page 3.
Okay, yep.
It was bumped down from 7,500 to 4,000, but I feel like that's still high. For statistically, and I guess I'd have to look on 2020 here. So different numbers and everything in 2020, would it have been overtime? Would that have been considered the extra time pay?
So typically, full-time are 37 and a half hours. And when I write the budget, I base it on 37 and a half hours a week or 1,950 hours per year. If they do 40 hours in 1 week, it's not budgeted to what their contract says. So that's when extra time comes into play. So it's not necessarily just overtime, it's anything above and beyond what they normally work.
Okay, so in 2020, though, that fund would have been the
Would have been-
overtime fund?
Overtime fund,
Yes.
which was
Okay.
4,700
Yep,
Okay,
and.
so statistically, in 2020, we budgeted 4,700.
Uh-huh.
We spent $33.66.
Yep.
In 21, we budgeted 4,700, 1,205. That's a difference of almost 3,500. Same thing in 22, we budgeted 47. We put back into surplus almost 3,600. In 23, we put back into surplus almost 3,800.
Mhm.
My estimates, rough, and I'll tell you right out what I did. I just took what we have already spent in 2023, or not 23, 24 for this fiscal year. I divided what we've already spent by 8 for June through February. And then I times that number times 4 to get the average. Added that to what we already spent. So in my estimation, we might spend about 2,100, leaving $5,300 to go to surplus. So I think we should cut that back just a little bit more.
What do you think? 25?
That's what I thought, 2,500.
I think that makes sense. I mean, has it ever historically even come close to 4,000? Even before 2000?
Not since I've been here.
Okay,
In 2020, we're working,
Right, right,
working.
COVID.
Yeah, so not since I've been here
Okay.
has it. We had some changes last year where an elected position was going to an appointed position, and we didn't know how that was gonna shape up.
Mhm.
That's why we went up to 7,500.
Mhm.
But I'm in agreement with Amber, and I'm fine with that. I don't know if you guys want to weigh in, or if you guys want to weigh in.
It makes sense. But historically, we're not spending the money.
Yeah,
Budget committee?
You
You
gonna
think
make that a
2,500?
motion?
Everyone?
I
Well-
will. I was gonna, well, yeah, are we gonna
Why
vote
don't
at,
we wait until we vote the total line?
All right,
Okay.
well,
That's what I was thinking.
you're thinking 2,500 though?
that's, I mean,
Alright.
That, it seems,
that seems reasonable to me.
Budget committee agrees.
You guys all agree?
Yeah, we're all in agreement.
Okay. Any other conversations? Because salaries and benefits are voted together.
Oh, benefits, yeah. I
The
have a lot.
benefits, I didn't have anything. It is what it is on that.
yeah,
I have a lot for benefits. I'll apologize right now, everybody. I have a lot.
You have benefits questions?
I have a lot of benefits
You do?
questions. So again, just going statistically by what we have put in and what we've spent. Yeah, I think we're putting too much money. We're leaving too much money in benefits that's just rolling back over to surplus. So and I'll just go 21, we put back into surplus $5,718. 22, we put back in 3,684. We're getting better. In 23, we put 2,377. And using my same calculations that I did, estimating around 40,500 for this year. So that would be almost $10,000 going back into surplus.
So what happens when we write the budget, we'll take this year, for instance, we have one position that's not filled.
Mhm.
So I have to estimate what that might be. Last year, we had the town manager, so I had to estimate what that might be. We've created a reserve fund so that we don't have to do that. Amber and I briefly spoke today, and in talking about the one position that we have open right now, I estimate that at 29,000. I think we're okay if we want to cut the $89,289. And then when that person comes on board, we can take it out of the reserve fund. You're looking confused.
What
Okay.
position is that?
The admin clerk,
Okay.
well, that, and we're gonna create with this budget, the position with the assessor. We'll have to have benefits for that position as well, won't we?
the assessor position is part-time. So the only benefits we have for that is earned paid leave, which if they're not here, we don't need to cover like we do at the transfer station. And 457B. So I factored those numbers in when I added in the position.
Well, isn't it a pay now, pay later? If you take it out of reserves now, when we get the position, you're gonna put it in the next year's budget?
Yes, we would have to do that.
So
Yeah, I don't see any,
that's the way
benefits
to
is
save
a
it.
tough one to mess with. I don't.
Yeah. I agree.
I think just where you don't know, and you don't know someone's situation is going to change where they could adopt a kid and there's, I just think that there's too many fluctuating factors for benefits, especially where it's by state, really
Exactly.
regulations, and they're tough.
I think the process that we're using to come to these, I mean, it's an educated guess at
Yeah.
best.
Mhm.
And yes, we are putting money back to surplus and then we're asking for an allocation the next year, but I feel like in one way, we don't want to cut ourselves too short. Because I'd really rather do it that way than I would
Yep.
going back to the people and saying, we screwed up, let's,
Right.
we didn't guess right.
No, but it's a formula for benefits. It's
Yeah,
hard.
and
It's hard.
So
Is that $10,000 out of $255,000 or $10,000 out of somewhere else?
That's just the FICA. That first line that I said, that was just FICA.
Or you want to take $10,000 out of that?
No, that's what I'm thinking, that estimating will roll back into surplus for this year.
For FICA?
Yeah.
Okay, that's most likely, because the FICA is built off of the salaries. So whatever salaries have built up here, it's 7.65%. So if we lose somebody and you go 3 months without that person, yeah, there's gonna be FICA left over.
Mhm.
But the FICA is based directly on the salaries at 7.65%. Because we're a 218 town.
Yeah.
So we have to figure that in. Does that make sense? Ann?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so if
Yeah.
somebody was gone, if somebody left and we didn't replace somebody for 3 months, yeah, FICA's gonna go, there's gonna be extra FICA to go
Mhm.
in. But if every single one of these positions is filled exactly as we wrote it, then we will spend that much FICA.
Okay. So you were talking the 29,000, you were talking
Health
of
insurance.
the health
Sorry,
insurance.
totally
Okay,
missed
no,
it.
that's fine. So that would bring that line down to,
But you would be taking that, when we do hire that person, you're gonna take it out of your reserve account.
And it's already lower than what it was before. Right?
Correct.
Sure, that's a smart thing to do.
I mean, I just look at this and I just see that like the difference between what we allocate every year and what we actually spend going statistically, that's where we're dropping the most money back from those lines back into surplus. And I just think if we could figure out a way to tighten that up a little bit each year, it would be better on our residents.
Is that because of open positions though, or is that because we're guesstimating incorrectly?
I mean,
It's already 20 grand
It's-
lower though.
it's what?
It's already 20 grand, showing 20 grand, unless I'm losing my marbles. It's already showing, like 2024 budget was 151 and now it's 131. It's already down,
11,000.
so it's already coming down.
Because the salaries came down.
Right. So it's already like 20 grand lower. than
Which one are you talking about? You're talking.
Benefits and health, right? Is that what you were talking about?
Yes, but I was just like, the health, yeah, because we had talked earlier today and that was what she said about cutting the 29,000 from the 131. But that was just the health line.
Yeah.
That's the open position that we haven't hired. I have no idea what they're coming in at, if they're gonna come in at, a payback, or if they're gonna come in at single, or if they're gonna come in at family. I figured that one at family to cover us. One of the reasons it went down is we have 2 people who are taking the payback that we didn't account for last year. And the town manager was figured at family plan, and they're at a single plan, not knowing who was coming in.
Right.
So yeah, I was able to drop that at that point.
There's so many variables involved in this, with all this, with hiring. and
Oh, yeah.
whatnot. So, it's a guessing game, so we better guess a little higher than guess below the line, because below the line, then. they can say,
Yeah,
well,
I don't want to-
Yeah,
well-
And it's the employees it impacts, so
Yeah.
it's,
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean,
There are
but
there are other
we do
places-
have the reserve account
Yeah, but there are
for
other-
that.
There are other places though that we can, that are more fixed, if we can work on the budget, make it closer.
And yeah, I hope we can find other places too to cut. I mean, I'm fine with leaving it what it is, taking the 29 out for the health and leaving the rest. We'll have the same conversation next year, I think. I think literally, I mean, just in like health right now, not health, yeah, the whole of benefits right now, we did 254, 317. We've only spent 137,000. We still have 116,000 in 4 months to, I don't think we're going to spend that. I think,
It's already showing a minus 3.65% for benefits. So we're heading in the right direction. So I think it is on the radar. So Jeanette can maybe, of course, it is really hard when you have a position that's not filled, and hopefully we'll have a full boat next year for budget season where you won't have to
Yeah,
worry
I've had
about
that.
guessing.
Every year we've made.
So we've gone,
changes,
you've already
so-
saved 3.65% on benefits.
Okay, so what is everybody's thought? Do you guys want to lower it by 29,000?
Budget people? Anybody?
Which one are we lowering? Health?
Okay, they're
And we-
thinking, what are your thoughts?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You want to lower it by 29,000 from what figure? The 131 or the 151?
So at this point, I work on bottom line.
Oh, it's too low.
It would be
So
from
it'd be the 131.
Yeah, it would be a good cut.
This is dangerous.
I agree. Put that on the
Health
calendar.
insurance. Yeah.
Let's see, what are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think that'd be, let's call it out.
Maybe we ought to compromise and go for a different number.
I don't have a problem voting my own way. So I mean, I'll vote against it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem saying that's why I voted against it at town meeting either, so.
So if we go down to a single plan. So if we go from 29, 289, 24 to a single plan, because right now I have it a family plan, to a single plan of 15,660.94, that's 13,628. Thoughts about dropping it 13,628 instead of 29.
More comfortable. I feel more comfortable with that number.
Okay,
This is 15.
Oh, fine, I can go there too.
15, you're saying? They say drop at 15, what do you think? You okay with that, Bill?
Yep.
Budget is recommending drop at 15,000.
Thoughts? We have 15 in the reserve account right now,
That's all we have in reserve?
correct?
Yeah.
And we're asking to put it in down to 7.
I just don't think we should set precedents of cutting a budget and for something that we could have next year and depleting reserve. I just don't think that's a smart move. So I know we're not doing that. I know we're not voting on it, but I still
No, no,
kind of feel the same way about it.
It's time to talk.
I see the point where it's been high and we have had a lot go back in.
But that doesn't mean it's gonna
Right,
be like that all the
right.
time.
Cause like budgeted was 193 down
be
and
below.
149 was, yeah, it could go totally backwards.
Because it's not like we lose the money, it goes back to surplus, it still belongs to the town. And, I appreciate your time and
I just
effort
think
in
that-
this, and I do respect your opinion. But, my opinion
you.
is we stand, leave it the way it is, because this is one of those things that is, sometimes too close to call. And if, I'd rather see, have extra to put back in surplus than there again, come up short or have to burn up a reserve because we were trying to make it too tight.
Now,
I mean-
is the article based on the bottom line number? So we're really not cutting it out of this number, we're cutting it out of the bottom line number?
Correct. Your recommendation is a bottom
Right.
line number.
That 255,000 or whatever, you're knocking 15 off of that. You're not knocking 15 off of it.
Off the-
988,000.
Well, I don't know where that 988.
It's benefits and salary together.
It's- yeah.
Salaries and benefits.
I'm looking at this one and that one.
It's right, page 5.
Taking seven,
Yeah, what?
well,
this-
now you're taking
this-
2,500 off that.
So-
This is the combination of the two.
25 and the 15 here.
Where's the select board recommendation?
Well, they sent you their recommendation.
Okay, the way I look at it, it looks like 255 against 988.
Because it's one more article.
Okay, so here again, you're taking 15,000 out of 988,000.
Actually, you're taking 15.
And the 2,500.
You're taking
1,500.
You're taking the rate of the-
Okay, yeah. So you're really not taking it out of 131.
So you guys went to 2,500, that's only a $1,500 difference.
Yeah.
Did I
And-
misunderstand that?
No, we're
No.
taking 15,000
No,
off.
hang on.
No,
Wait,
20 when the
I
20
backed up a
Oh, where
minute.
are we now?
Oh, sorry, was that
25.
the 2,500 for the
That's
extra
out
time?
of
paid time out?
salaries.
Salaries.
Yeah,
Oh, that was
So
15
on
hours, sorry.
extra time.
Yes, minus 1,500, yes, my bad.
You wanted to minus 1,500.
Yes, I wrote it opposite.
So it's
Okay.
1750 we're taking out.
Yes.
1,500. 1,500.
Plus the
I just
15,000.
want to make sure I'm on the right page.
Going from-
17.
So can we back up to
Oh, yes,
extra
oh,
time?
Yeah,
Yes,
go back to extra time.
All right, so is the consensus to change the 4,000 to 2,500?
Mhm,
Or is it to change the 4,000 to 1,500?
2,500.
25.
2,500. So
Yes.
4,000 minus 2,500 is
Yeah.
1,500.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
sorry.
I
Yep.
keep getting some different
No.
numbers thrown, so I'm like, okay, I got it.
Oh,
Now
It's all
back to
good.
the 15,000.
Mhm.
Can we come to some consensus on 15,000? I feel way more comfortable with the 15,000. We have that reserve if we get into a pinch. So the last 6 months, we know, it's based on a calendar year.
Mhm.
So we know what the first 6 months are gonna be. Bar somebody not, we're having to hire somebody. The last 6 months, we have no idea, it's a crapshoot. I usually figure in 10%. Is it gonna be 10? Is it gonna be 9? Is it gonna be 3? I don't know. Nobody knows. I had it come in, I always use 10%, I had it come in at 14 once, and we had to scramble. I feel okay with the 15, if that's what you guys want to do. If you don't want to do that, I completely understand you want to play it safe. I do that too.
This is if this line item goes empty, it's all still one.
It's
correct.
one more
Because
article.
So
988,000.
that 15 comes out of all those
Mhm.
line items.
You can
So-
take it from any one of those line
So
items.
there's a little bit of savings in every one of those, you
Mhm.
know there's gonna be. And
Yep.
I think that's the cushion, and the reserve is the backup cushion at 15.
Right,
So,
that's my thought.
That makes sense.
30 was kind of stressful, but
Yeah,
I think 15 is very comfortable.
Well, I mean, and you do look at some of these, like, you know, the budget for training, some of these are unfortunately zero all the way, like benefits training for transfer station is budget was an actual zero. So there's 500 there every time we've done, they've never used it. Hopefully not saying they wouldn't, but there was maybe a trickle down where maybe, there's places where it can be kind of made up.
And that's what a budget is, it's your best guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we're going back, if we take something out of from training, then we're,
Right, but
because we didn't estimate.
Right.
But at the end of the year, that money like this, maybe use that.
This is salary.
Just don't want to put it on the shoulders of the
I
employees.
know, I know.
You don't put any of these, training during-
Well, like, for instance, ballot clerks was estimated at 6,529. They only used 3,230. So there's just there's lots of areas where not the full amount was used in
Well, we
lots of
figure for
spots.
3 elections.
Right.
And it would depend on what happens. And everywhere I go, we say, the stuff is one thing, the bodies are harder to count.
Yes.
They're constantly moving.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
On this line up here, this Department 101 salaries, you don't have enough.
Bigger.
What do we recommend for that?
You guys recommend for salaries and benefits.
I mean,
The
But
that's-
see,
900 to
but if I remember
800,000.
right, we had one number for salaries and one number for benefits.
No,
You
no.
voted the 980,000, because it's one more
I'm kind
article.
of torn either way, both
I
ways.
thought we had money in
And I
the
said-
part-time.
I'd stay
We did,
Yeah, but
But
it's
it
still
was
one total
already
number.
there.
I just don't see how it's.
so the part-time
That's where we're come from.
on page 1, Dave,
Okay,
But
and
I
what's,
think if we
what's
do
this?
that,
This is-
okay?
This is how you're looking
Next
at it,
year,
Dave.
we
This
should
is,
so this
seriously
is,
look at it some more.
This number.
this number is,
Because,
they haven't voted.
I don't want to call it.
Oh, so we don't know what
That's
that
not-
number is.
Mhm.
That's
No,
not
no,
what
I
I
mean,
We're
but I
trying
know-
to get, and they'll
Best
vote.
guess
You'll vote,
scenarios,
we vote, and they'll
there's
vote.
overages.
They
All the
voted for
time.
the salary.
I'd
So-
really rather have an overage than an underage.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way
Especially
the
in this
budget committee
category,
works
benefits.
is,
I
we
mean, that's
have
the-
budget meetings.
So if
with
you
the
just
board,
look though statistically,
and then
35,000
they put their
in
recommendations to
21
you,
went back to
And then
surplus.
you come back with your
15,
recommendation. They
44.
haven't voted yet.
So what you're saying is.
I think
they
we're gonna
didn't
put
recommend
40
anything.
just from this year in healthcare
Yeah,
back
they
into
recommend what
surplus
they put forward to you.
for this fiscal year that we are in right now.
Right, and I understand that.
No, I understand.
We've also had,
You've got this
we've
number,
had
but you don't have this.
people, yeah,
That's just
the
for
employees
benefits.
have fluctuated.
I don't know what
in
Well, I
that
think-
This number is-
I think like what
You
somebody
guys
said,
voted.
this
Them with
benefits
us.
section,
They didn't have to do all their
like
votes.
money could be,
they haven't
if,
voted.
if the
If you-
transfer station isn't using their $500 for training, that could be moved to something else within benefits.
Right?
So there's,
619.
Yeah.
But why are
Built
they,
in.
but why are they not? using
Well,
the
I have
funding
no
levels?
idea.
This is-
They
we're
have-
putting it in
Yeah.
there, we should be encouraging.
That's right.
I mean, I just came from a meeting all day about that today.
yes.
What's the number? I was-
That's the number you voted.
No, that's the number.
Would you
Why
be
are
more-
we putting it in there if we don't?
It's also here.
Okay.
Would you be more
This
comfortable
is-
10,000
They used
versus
to
the
have to
15?
train.
I understand that.
I wish you hadn't started off saying health benefits.
I said, I'm sorry, I know, I'm just like,
That
But,
just,
and like she said, she's fine if you don't want to.
Yeah,
We
but
can
I'm
make
good.
our recommendation
Oh, I
and
know.
it is,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay, here's this number.
it's just such a volatile market. We got an election coming up. You never know where this stuff's gonna go. And once again, keep looking at that one line item. I wish we hadn't.
oh, I'm not, I mean, I could give you,
15
I could
as
give you
opposed to
another
30 or the
example.
29, I'd be more apt to to change my mind.
Yeah.
But it's $15,000.
We can change that.
How about if we table it? And just look at it and let's see how the rest of the budget goes. Because
So
just
you
to
wanna
say.
come back to it after that?
Well, it impacts the employees or an employee. I want to be cautious of that. I mean,
Well, I mean, I don't think your mind's gonna change then. I think that's okay. I think
Yeah,
that's the way we
that's
should do it
right.
then. You guys, that's the way this is how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
People can ask the different opinions on the floor if they want to know why people
Yeah.
voted a different way.
No, like I appreciate this process.
Yeah.
And I think it's good communication.
I respect where you guys are standing, not budging. Totally get it. It is. It's the employees, and it is kind of like robbing Peter to play Paul. If you're looking to dip
Exactly.
into, totally get it.
But isn't that what the reserve is for?
Mm-hmm. In a sense.
but like she said.
I think
we-
that would be more like a contingency than
Yeah.
a reserve, and I don't want to use a reserve account as a contingency.
Or set
Yes,
precedent.
in a way.
Oh, we'll cut here and we can, yeah. I would love to use that word contingent.
I don't
So
care for
as long as
that.
you don't use
No.
slush fund, you'll put me on the floor.
She's out.
I'm done. A little lightheartedness because it was getting a little tense.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Do you want to go back after we review the rest of the budget? Or do we want to make a decision?
We can make a decision. I'm gonna stand as of a non-change, to leave it as is. Like I said, we all have our opinions,
Mhm.
and I just do not want to have a chance of impacting the employees.
Okay.
Budget people,
$15,000.
you still good with coming down 15,000?
15,000 out of that money doesn't, it's peanuts, I don't care.
You good, Kim? Budget's gonna stay with the, mine coming down 15,000
Okay, hang on, let me
for
figure it out.
health.
Oh, see, now Dan's telling me right in the
Correct. Yeah, so it'd be
We
75,
go to the floor.
it's gonna be the 2,500, I mean, the 1,500 plus the
All that is-
15,
You don't
yeah,
have
it's
to.
off the 98.
Even when I was on the budget.
So-
We'll see, zero,
Mhm.
zero, 6, 0, boom, 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 and if it goes to the floor and they pass it, then.
I know that everybody's figuring and running their calculators. Amber, is there more stuff that you wanted to cut out of this?
Yep.
Rock out.
And I'm not, I just think my whole reasoning is I think that we are putting the money in here, but statistically, what we're putting back to excise every year, I think we would be doing the citizens and residents of this town a service by leaving it in their pockets and not just dumping it back into surplus.
So why don't you run through what you got?
Well, I don't know if anyone like,
Well, if we're figuring bottom numbers and if she's gonna have to refigure numbers after that, might as well.
okay, so where do you want me to
Just
start?
just go through them all one by one.
Okay, so the dental, I was totally fine with that. I think that's a reason, that was a good number. The life and med, I had no problem with that. The employee, the 457B employer match, we have put in the last, well, in 2021, we put 7,400 back into surplus. In 22, we put 4,400 back in. In 23, we put 5,700 back in. We budgeted for this year 12,614. And again, by my estimations, we could roughly spend maybe 12,800. I don't even know if that's an 8 or a 5. 12,884. So we would be dumping another 4,300 back in surplus. So I just thought, like, take $2,000 off of employee match. And then the same thing with the main PERS. We've done 7,900, 9,000, And again, oh no, excuse me, the 4,300 was main PERS. It was 2958, I think, for employee match. So I think statistically, putting that to like 2,700, we would be okay. And then in the benefits and training, we've put back almost 1,800, 635, 1,300. And this year we went up to 9,015. So far, we've only spent 3,400. So I estimated that we might spend in that maybe 5,100. So I thought to cut that to 7,500. And that's where I was,
Okay,
So what would
so,
that be total?
oh God, I don't know. I
'Cause
didn't.
we're looking at the bottom line.
Yeah, I didn't add up.
Well, do you want to
Total.
give explanations for?
so when it comes to the retirement matches, I know if we have people in that position, I know what their matches are. Because main PERS, you opt in at the beginning, no other, I'm gonna say that loosely, no other way to opt in. So those people that are on main PERS, I have them listed on my spreadsheet. This person, this is their salary, this person, this is their salary, this person, this is their salary, and what that match is. So that's figured pretty tightly. The 457B, you can opt in, opt out, you can turn it off, turn it on. And for the new person that we don't have yet, I figured them at the main PERS instead of the 457, because that's a 4.5% difference.
Mhm.
So what I did was, this person's on 457, this is their new salary, 457 new salary, 457 new salary, and what it equals out to. So that's how I figure those out. If they shut off their 457, I had somebody shut it off for, a year, they can opt out like that. If we don't have a person in, for instance, this year when we built this budget, we were looking at hiring a town manager. Who knows, I put them in at main PERS, they're actually a 457. So that could be a big difference there. It's those bodies that keep moving that you have to estimate for. And on those two items, that's what I did for an explanation. On training, there was a year, maybe 2 years ago, where training, everybody needs training, everybody needs training, everybody needs training. And I'm seeing a lot of training coming up. Lindsay's gone tomorrow at a training.
We're going
And-
next week.
You're going next week. We've added a training for you guys at $500. So I think training is getting there. I prefer to train, webinar if I can, but if I can't, then I have to go to the class. But it still costs the same amount of money. So I think training is getting up there. And we actually built in a couple of years ago, training for committees, because that was a big consensus. They need training, they need training, they need training. And I think as we build our town manager HR, we're getting better at doing that. So, if you want to cut it too, that's up to you, but I'm not comfortable with the retirements. I just don't know where they're gonna end up.
What I'm hearing is that you have set up for the worst case scenario, pretty much. And we're talking about bottom line. So I kind of agree with Amber in the point that out of all those worst case scenarios, something's gonna be less, like it is every year. So I think we should take something out of there. How much, I don't know, but I think we should take something out, because I agree. Why should the taxpayer be paying for it and giving it back next year? I mean, I agree with Amber there.
Did you add up your your total of all the changes that you would make?
No, I don't know why I didn't think to do that. I'm sorry.
I'm just curious.
I could probably do it now.
Just the personnel ones.
Okay.
But not the 1,500, 15,000.
We already get
just
that one down there.
Excuse me for a minute.
Sure.
Don't hold up.
Okay.
Carry on.
I mean, ones they can opt in and opt out of, I'm not in favor of changing any of those. I think that you do a really good job in estimating and formulating, and I think we're already coming down 15,000. I think we'd be doing a disservice, especially where things are so volatile in the market of pay as well. I think that's a scary area to play with personally. So I'm not in favor of changing personally any of those. I'm going to be optimistic that everyone uses the training.
I think we're getting back
Yeah.
at it, yeah.
Well, COVID put a dent in a lot of stuff. It's just
Yeah.
still, life is still coming back to life.
So if
Yeah.
I just did my numbers for just the benefits line, not taking in the 732, 119, my number would be $223,092.
So you're taking out like 32,000, something like that?
And that's not with the
No.
15,000, Amber?
No, I just went down what I would put for numbers, what I would recommend, and
I'm looking
then,
at what the,
so I would minus that 255,
That's 32,153.
205. Yeah, thank you.
32,153.
Which, did you include the 15,000?
No.
Oh,
So
that
you're
doesn't
looking at
include
No, so if you
55,000.
take out another 15,000, so an additional 17,153.
I mean, I agree that something should be taken out, and I don't know how much it should be, but I don't think it should be that total amount, but I think it should be somewhere in the range of half of that, maybe.
I mean, if we just go, if I do 3,
You're already pretty close to half of 15,000.
Yeah, we proposed 15,000 already.
Just on a long
I
loss.
mean, I can live with 15, but I can also live with a little bit more. But I really think we should take something out of it, because all of those numbers aren't gonna come to
I
fruition.
hate this calculator.
But they could.
They haven't, so.
And that's the
It could be the
scary
first time,
part.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, well,
you know, there's a first for everything. So, I mean, I think just the fact that we've come down 15,000 and the 1,500, I think is.
No, but they didn't
is-
come down to 50.
Right, I think
Oh.
he's agreeing with you guys.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he's more on, you gotta come out of there somewhere.
So in 22, so I don't have the whole numbers for 21, we put back into surplus $37,226 just from benefits. In 23, we put back $68,377. And
But there was reasons people coming and going.
this is the-
Yeah, when we had either new positions or people left.
So we had for benefits last year, 254,317. So far, we've spent $137,901. We still have $116,415 to expend in 4 months. I think that there's going to be maybe not 68, but at least another 30 or something going back into surplus from just benefits.
it's a compelling argument,
Very compelling argument.
yes.
So you guys want to do another 10?
I'd be happy.
Off the bottom line.
No, after hearing that and crunching that, I'd go for the 15, but that's all I feel at all comfortable with at this time.
So it'd be an extra 15 for a total of 30.
No, we didn't.
No, they didn't go
Because
for the
we were
15.
standing.
Oh, okay, okay.
Our consensus
15
was
off
we
the
were
total.
standing, but I'd be willing to, this was a compelling argument, I'm saying I would be willing to
Come down,
agree with them.
agree with the budget committee on the 15,000. from the original.
not an extra or more,
Right.
but
So right now, we're talking about more than the 15,000, more than the 16,500
Mhm.
that we've already discussed. She's looking for another 17,000.
Well, you're losing me.
So we've already, she figured out her number, and her number was like 30 something,
32.
32,000. You guys already talked about, reducing it by 16,500. So that leaves a
Well,
difference.
benefits by 15, right?
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
and-
Yeah, she's
and
talking
salaries by-
bottom line numbers, Dave, right
It's
Yeah,
now.
I
It's salaries
understand, yeah,
and
but it
benefits.
depends on which bottom line, I guess.
The 988,
So-
864.
So are you willing to entertain another 17,000?
No.
On top of what?
I'm
On top of-
comfortable with 15.
On top of the 15.
Yeah, you're
On
losing me.
top of the so we already said, we discussed dropping 15,000. We discussed dropping 1,500.
Right,
So Amber added up her
That's
differences,
not a one.
and it came to 32,000.
and nobody proposed that.
No, which is
Okay.
what we're discussing. So the difference between the 16,500 and the 32,000 is another 17,000.
And nobody's proposing that.
Well,
She's asking
we're
if we want to.
discussing.
That's what she's
We're
asking now.
discussing. So nobody seems to want
Anybody?
to,
no, I think that,
No.
okay,
but that, yeah.
okay.
Hey, I'm,
So
I'm,
right now,
shocked that I
the
realized
Budget
it, so-
committee has voted on the 15 plus the.
Yes.
No, you haven't voted yet.
We
Right,
did.
not to
We can
Didn't
talk
we
about
vote
it.
to
We have,
discuss?
we have to vote the bottom line number, which is what we
Oh,
have to
okay,
do.
you're
We-
waiting for
we-
the bottom
we
line,
all- We
so-
were in agreement to drop it to 16,500.
sorry.
We have to wait to vote the bottom line number.
Everybody's
Which
gonna
would
call him
be-
and be like,
that.
Yeah, right?
Go with 15.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You might be that way, I'll be like, where did it
So
go?
it's 16 total.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so I'm okay with that, listening to this, that was compelling to me.
Okay, so you guys are good with the 15?
No, I am.
Oops.
What is the 16,500?
The 60 is the one.
With the 1500.
1,500 from the,
1,500 plus the 15,000, 16,500.
Yeah, it's confusing, doesn't it?
1,500 from where? That was 25.
That was.
No, no,
Oh,
that
no,
was-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, no,
Yes,
there was a
yes, yes.
difference. I did the same thing too when I started off, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yes, I'm, all right.
You need to bring us treats next time.
Okay.
I will, I'll bring you all to Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
Okay, for the budget committee, you were at 988,864, which you voted 6-0. Dave made the motion, Ken seconded it.
So, Dave, would you like to rescind your motion?
I don't think we have to rescind it,
we
do
did,
we
we
just have
did.
to amend it.
We
We have to amend it, right?
No, you voted.
we voted it, so we,
I
you
understand, so now we want to.
have to rescind your
Okay,
motion.
I rescind the motion.
And Ken, do you rescind your second? Okay, so we're rescinded. Does anyone the new amount, I was $972,364.
Correct.
So would anyone
I
like
move
to make a
that.
motion?
second it.
Okay, we got a first by Dave and a second by Ken for $972,364. All those in favor on budget? Aye, unanimous.
Okay, board, you were at 988,864 that you recommended to the budget committee. After discussions tonight, removing 15,000 and 1,500 for a total 972,364.
So moved.
Second, a second.
I'm not seconding it.
Second.
More seconds? All in favor?
I will vote with you because you did concede, but I wasn't gonna second
So
it.
that's a 4-0.
Don't do it.
It
Okay,
looked like it to me. but
Yes,
I can't
yes,
tell
yeah.
from here.
just want to make
She's so
sure.
far away.
Just want to make sure. Okay, general admin.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. that one. Okay, the budget committee voted your recommendation of $162,935, 6-0.
Okay.
Page 10.
Page
sorry.
10.
At the bottom, yeah. Keep
Yeah.
looking for the bottom.
Keep flipping.
Keep looking.
Okay, Amber, where do we need to start?
You know, I think I left this
You
section
left that one alone?
pretty
All
much
right.
alone, yeah.
So, Ford, 162,935.
So moved.
Second it.
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, elections. You presented the budget committee with $15,517. They voted 6-0. Discussion?
Yeah.
For Amber.
So again, statistically
What
speaking,
page?
page 10. With,
Forget you have a president election in this
yes,
year.
yeah.
Okay,
So, but the June election that's covered in here,
That's also changed too, because the RSU 57 is now required to do the sticks or using the machines. So the budget for that went up.
Okay.
Usually it's a hand ballot.
Yeah.
We're not doing that this time. It's electronic. Which is
okay,
why it went up, because those, you see how much your sticks cost and the machines
Yeah.
cost, because we only have 2 machines. We have to
Okay.
rent a second or third or fourth machine for the
Okay.
elections that are coming up, which is why it went up. Because I did ask that question.
well, it went up basically because of the officer.
Yep.
That you're now required to have.
Right, that too.
That's it.
But
That's-
also the extra
Other than
machines
that,
and,
we flat funded it.
okay. So then maybe I would leave that one at the 10,000, whatever, 662. Okay.
15,517.
15517.
Well, no, I'm not
Oh, okay,
looking at the
just
bottom
page
line yet.
10,
I'm just,
okay,
yeah, I'm
gotcha.
doing, so, okay. Postage for 6650,
What page?
the, page 11. Was this previously somewhere else?
Yes, it was mixed up with postage, regular postage.
Okay,
And we're trying to get it handled because everybody keeps asking me, how much does the electric cost?
So all the stuff over here is where you say new, this is new this year.
Yeah.
New- This is new line
Broken-
items.
broken
That
out.
we had other places.
Other
That
places,
you put over
correct.
here.
Yep.
So it was in the budget.
okay. So for elections advertising, 980, it's new, but we haven't spent any of that in this fiscal year.
The invoices have not come in yet. I have an entire year
Okay,
for Waterboro Reporter and Maine Today Media, which Maine Today Media just changed their name. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
okay. So then that would be why, because I'm like, the printing,
No,
the,
we did
other-
advertise.
okay. Okay, then I could convince myself to let that ride without.
It's like one.
But can you?
I can, yes, yes.
Awesome.
So elections, 15,517.
I make that motion.
I second it, but I have to.
All in favor?
Aye.
General admin insurance services. Okay, it's at the very, very top. $38,543.
Hit it, Amber.
Is that insurance, property, and I'm guessing that's casualty? Is that a once a year payment, or is that a monthly, or is that, like, do you pay that by the year?
So we pay it in 4 quarters, and I just pay it by the year. So it's let me make sure I get this right. It's calendar year, I believe. One is calendar with workers' comp, and one is fiscal. So if it's fiscal, I pay it when the bill comes in, I just pay the whole thing. If it's calendar year, I pay the first 6 months, and then I pay the last 6 months. One of those is calendar, one of them's fiscal, and I can't remember
I think
which.
workers' comp is
Yeah, I think-
fiscal, and then insurance and property is annual.
Yeah,
The way it's
Okay.
looking from the notes.
So check my math, because it says here that 10%, that for the first line for that one, I came up with a 10% would bring it to $22,074.80. Because it only went up like 320.
right, I'm fine with the 20,383.
Okay.
I feel fine with that.
Would you be fine at 18?
Well,
Because it looks, and right now, again,
so I'm having a hard time because I just did this one, I just did the application for it. And we added all the stuff at Kennebunk Pond. I gave them all of the information for the transfer station, because I don't know which, do we have to put it as our property and casualty, or do we have to put it
okay,
as a separate list? I don't know what's gonna be.
okay, okay.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
I'm a little
So,
squirrely about
but the
that. I don't-
20,383, you think that would cover?
I think we're okay with that.
Okay. So was that number what was added into the, or was it 10%? No, never mind.
No, it's the 38,543.
Okay. But that's using the 20,383.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that number. And your workers' comp has dropped dramatically since the fire department moved.
Mhm. Okay.
So budget committee voted 6-0, 38,543. Going once for, going twice for.
So moved.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contingency, budget committee voted 2,500, 6-0. Discussion. Board,
I used to sit over there and I didn't like contingency funds. And I sit over here now and I still don't like them.
but you see with all the damage.
I do, and I understand, but there's also other places that if you really want to get creative, you can. And if you have a catastrophe, that's the kind of thing you bring to the people and say, hey, man, this or whatever. But, so I don't,
I've heard this
$2,500
you've heard it
discussion
before,
before.
so,
Yeah.
and I have not changed.
I know, and what bothers me is when we have to get creative. We've had to get creative when we had the Bunganut thing happen with all the trees, and creative financing, that bothers me. I'd rather have, $2,500, it isn't a lot of money for something like all that damage we had out there on the trees.
Mm.
And look at everything that's been happening with the last couple of storms, that's still not enough money, so I know this has always been,
It's a bone of contention with me. It
I
always
know.
has been, and it probably always will be. I just, yeah. And look at what all my yapping did for that. Now it's 25.
But 21, we spent 46 out of 8, and we brought, I remember we did bring that down. Luckily, we didn't. It's kind
I
of
think
luck of
we
the
did.
draw.
Yeah, I think that the select board has been very frugal in using it for only what they need it for. That's why I put that history in there. It's in your hands.
This is the one that comes up every year. I just see in these last storms we had, I can see that we could use this chance. Has anybody gone down the Mungonuck?
It's a hot mess.
Well, there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll say I'll make a motion for the 2,500. What is it?
I don't know if I can. second
Yeah,
that.
okay.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Good.
Only because of
She's
Bunganut.
standing her ground. That's okay.
Hey, I appreciate that.
It's okay.
I like to be consistent when I don't get a compelling argument.
Any big trees come down?
We were supposed to go out after the ice and we didn't. I mean, there are those two huge ones down the end that are,
Yeah.
I imagine there's more. Yeah. But it's just, there's so many down there. It's rough.
We should have a party and have a bonfire
Mhm.
and a chainsaw party with hot dogs on a stick.
I'll bring
There's
some
gonna be plenty of
marshmallows.
stuff
Okay, we're not
outside.
even halfway through, guys. Let's keep
Yeah,
moving.
let's go.
All right, animal welfare, $9,328. Budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Board, it's in your hands.
I think we could keep the mileage at 1,500. I know it's only $200. but I feel like $200 is,
But if it's busier and there's a little more miles, I'd rather see it stand just the way it is.
well, I mean, I look back, again, statistically,
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit careful with that one.
Because they didn't go
Gonna
out
get
there.
They weren't, well, they
It-
weren't.
Yeah.
They didn't go out there covered.
well, I mean, they've been out, this year we did 1,500. And,
Did the mileage rate go up?
Yeah,
That's what I thought, yeah.
0.67.
I think that's why we raised it up.
that's why I raised it up.
Yeah, it was 0.645, then 1.65, now.
So if you're looking at the current year,
yeah, so we budgeted for 1,500. So far, it's only been paid out $507.
I don't have December, January, February, March.
What?
Yeah.
They haven't turned in their
They haven't
paperwork.
turned out the paperwork. This has been kind of historical,
Well, so
just so you know why it hasn't been spent.
I move that we leave that line at $9,328.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, I am.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Health and Human Services, general assistance, $1,500. Budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Board, it's in your hands.
Make that a motion for $1,500 for the Health and Human Services General Assistance.
Oh, there it is.
I think
Yeah, I'll second that.
wait, can you say that again? We,
Health and Human Services, general assistance.
Department 128.
See it? Took me a while, right over here.
It's in a square. It's
It's a
not on the
square over
bottom
here,
line
too.
thingy.
It's right here.
well, I see the 1,500 up here, but then I see 1132.
That's or
So
something?
Because that's
the
for life
1,500
flight.
is the 1,000, the 150, and the 350. The
Oh, okay,
132
the,
has
no,
to be
okay,
voted
the
separately.
350, okay, I see the 350 now. Okay, thank you.
So you wanna make it 1132, 1,500?
No.
No.
No,
No.
it's,
Oh, okay.
No.
It's in a different line.
Oh, different line.
Yeah, it's up.
Any other discussion?
Yeah.
Look at the bottom. of
Was
the-
there-
Oh, this one.
was there a
Yeah.
motion?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, did somebody make, okay.
Motion was
All
made.
in favor?
Aye.
All right, social services, $1,132, budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Board,
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Seconds, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. That's the one I hope nobody has to use. That's
Mhm.
up for the life flight,
Amen to that.
but it's good to have it there if we need it.
roads, $839,048, budget committee voted 5-1. Any discussion?
Do we know, when you guys did that vote, is the person here that voted in the negative?
Who voted in the
And what the reason was?
Why does it say 6-0 on this one?
This is 5-1.
It's a
Yeah, it
five.
says 5 on here, it's 6-0 here.
Oh, it does?
Did I put 6-0?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm
Usually I'm
sorry.
the one who votes no, but I don't remember.
No, I know you had reason that you wanted to go down, but I thought in the end we all agreed.
I think I wanted to go up,
Dave, I think.
You wanted to
it was
go up.
yeah.
It
That's
was,
why
it
he
was,
said no.
he wanted it to go up and we
That's
didn't.
why he said no.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that, time I'll fix this.
So I did vote no,
No, it is the 5-1, Jeanette.
officially.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought, yeah. Scott, any other discussion? Board,
I make a motion for $839,048.
Second,
Any discussion?
I think it's a good budget.
All in favor?
Aye.
buildings, grounds, care, buildings and grounds. Page 21.
21,
It's all one article.
I guess. We're moving.
So $814,105, budget committee voted 6-0.
So moved at $814,105.
I did have something really quick. I highlighted some stuff. The one thing I noticed when you look at, like on page 18 and 19, I know Parks and Rec had started talking about using Bunganut for snowshoeing and having it plowed and things like that. So what came to mind is you have trash removal for 7 months.
Mhm.
Would that have to change if they're gonna use winter use there? And the same thing with the porta potty. And for, because like you look, trash removal for Kennebuck Pond is year round. And then you have Bunganut, it's only so many months out of the year, and same with the porta potty, you have 4 months for,
Did we already discuss that?
no, I don't
So,
think we discussed the length of time.
so it's for the plowing for
The plowing we
snowshoeing
discussed-
is
we discussed.
$700.
We discussed that, but like the
Yeah,
trash
only-
removal, and
I don't think they even have any,
is that gonna be a concern that you would want to have? That you would want to have trash barrel there or something? If they're gonna,
I'm okay with that. I'll just have Holly have.
because wouldn't you need to,
Well, what do you guys wanna do?
would you need to figure it in if someone's gonna be picking it up?
Yes. If someone's gonna be picking.
I mean,
it
it's
up.
just, if you want to just put on for the town manager to bring up at next, if everyone's fine the way it is, I just thought process, it was like, oh, they wanted to use it for sledding
Yeah.
and for,
Snowshoeing and.
snowshoeing and other
Snowshoeing.
events. And there would be no porta potty like a Kennebuck Pond has, as well as,
That would
I guess
assume
you-
that all the trails will be done this year.
yeah. Or even partially done.
They will be.
we're hopeful.
I don't
We're getting
think-
started.
I don't think you need as many of the trash receptacles or porta
Yeah.
potties for those things. You could put them in one spot.
Yep.
And,
Yeah,
No.
there's only one porta potty at Kennebunk Pond, right?
yep.
Yeah, so like, would you want one at Bunganut? Would you want one trash can to have trash pickup or?
Well, that's what I'm asking you guys.
I'm just throwing it out there. It just came to mind when I was looking through.
I'd like to see a schedule on what she intends to do there, how often she intends it, to know.
Well, this year was bust with snow, so that was
I
kind
was
of a
gonna say.
crapshoot,
Right.
you know, but they did want to be able to use the hill for sledding and, snowshoeing, and some people asked about ice fishing there. I don't know if you can ice fish there.
I've seen them up there.
Yeah.
So Jeanette, in the recreation, Parks and Rec, I guess, back on page 15, there's the recreation. It says budget for this year was $1390. But according to this, the expense summary report, it looks like that our budget was only $950.
So we still have at end of April, May and June.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that the budget, where it says 24 budget, the number you have in there is 1390, but the real budget was 950, according to the expense.
I'm not-
Do you have the expense summary report for
No, I didn't.
this year?
I mean, this one?
No.
So.
Well, it is,
for
but
the actual
it's-
spent for 2023, where we have
No.
294 and 794.
794, yeah.
And you're saying
That
750.
next, yeah, so see here where it says for contract and services, actual budget original, 950.
Yeah.
And here it says 1390.
Oh,
So it looks like it's coming down $90, but it's really going up.
I'd have to look at it here.
But is that the same thing? Like, because there's been no money spent out of that.
Well, it's pest control. That's going to happen in the spring. What
Okay.
you're looking at,
And-
And miscellaneous repairs, painting and things like that.
those won't happen until springtime.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. I mean, I just wanted to bring it to the attention that, if you think there's enough wiggle room in other places, you're probably potentially going to have a porta potty there year round. And
What'd you figure for a dollar figure?
I was looking at Kennebunk Pond's numbers. So like they have one porta potty for the year is $2,460. And right now, porta potty for,
I believe there's 2 billion there for the handicap and regular going to-
oh, there is now? Okay, so that's actually upping the porta potty count with that amount.
Is that right, Jeanette?
What?
You're adding a handicap porta potty?
I've been trying to do that for a while, yeah.
So you have, let me find it here, contract, because you have porta potty for Chadbourne Field. Trying to find the porta potty for Bunganut. Okay, here. You have it for 4 months at $120. So if you just compared it to like one handicap porta potty that's going in at Chadbourne Field, it'd be $2,460, right? Versus the 480.
Would you just increase it by 3 months?
Well, why don't you just put it there year round at that point?
Yeah. I know what's happening.
Am I making sense, Jeanette?
All right, so what I come up with is trash pickup. If we go full year, there's a difference of $820. So that's 40 times 52 minus what's already there at 1120. It's already 960.
Jeanette, are you going on that, are you going for a dumpster price? Are you using a dumpster price?
Well, why would we need a dumpster?
No, I'm just
for
saying,
the
what,
snow showing?
I understand that. What's your number based on?
Just a barrel.
On a barrel, on
Yeah.
Dave's number.
Dave's
at
number.
Do you
40.
have what am I missing?
Very last line, Tom. So
So,
trash removal field, we have the barrels over there. And
At-
it's
at
$40.
That's, okay,
Yeah.
dumpster is the first one, that's a barrel,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
barrel, got it.
So $40, so it would
Okay.
increase it how much, Jeanette?
$960 for trash pickup
Yeah,
and $85 a month for $13.60 for a porta potty. Additional. So,
Okay.
an additional $2,320.
Seems like a lot for a few months, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're very cost effective. We've checked into other places and it's like double what they are.
Get
So
one
is that something you guys want to add?
kind of crapshoot.
Literally.
I mean, you on so many levels.
Yeah, good luck.
Just, listen, I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention because I realized that that's going to be like if you get there and you have little kids going there to sled or snowshoe and they have to go potty,
Well, yeah, it's one that,
there's going to be some dancing.
like this year, we wouldn't have spent the money, or we would have spent the money and not used it.
Right,
for the most
right,
part.
right,
So if we don't spend the money next year, it'll snow like crazy.
And it's all like,
right.
and we'll have
Well,
trash all
wish
over
we had,
all
yeah,
over the ground.
so I think we should add it in now while we're in this process.
And then is it something that
And we'll,
if we get a decent amount of snow, you order it in? If we don't get any snow, you don't order it in?
It just stays there.
But you just keep
Well, you
it
can
there?
use a contingency fund for that,
Because of
just joking.
I knew you were.
no, fine. So
That's
just,
Yes,
fine.
it was.
so
It is, right?
because the company's not gonna bring it one month
Yeah.
and pick it up, bring it another month, they're busy.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean month to month, I just meant.
So why don't we
in the
just,
Season, we get snow, put it there.
if we
No,
plan
they'll
on,
bring it and pick it up. We do it at built job sites all the time.
yep,
Well, yeah,
I mean, I've
So
had a
we
porta
can
potty
do
as little as
that.
4 days and I've had it as long as 4 weeks.
yeah,
So when you don't need it, you just tell them, come get it.
they're pretty good to us.
I guess you just never know when you're gonna need it.
I do have another question on this one too. If you go to page 21, the bottom sign for roads, the budget for signs jumped up quite a bit. So I was just curious why that
Because we talked about the barriers.
was. Oh, that's right. That's what it is.
So
Okay, the
that-
barriers.
Which would
Okay,
have been very helpful last weekend.
right. And then, but even historically, like the 5,000, we haven't really come close to that unless you think we're going to this year.
It depends on what they need.
Yeah.
I mean, when they take out a sign, when the car takes out a sign.
Right.
On,
And those are getting more expensive too.
yeah, and in fact, I saw the shed sign was down when I went to the bank.
Oh, no.
So on the way back, I swung in and picked it up before anybody else grabbed it. So I didn't
Bedroom
want to pay for
decor.
a sign. It's the shipping that costs the most
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
out of those
Crazy.
signs.
All right, just was wondering. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
barriers was the kick there,
Are those the software barriers?
Yeah.
the light.
So that would make it,
Was it Amber done?
Did we already pay for salt for,
I still have bills coming in,
okay,
and I haven't gotten the mixing of the salt from Paul yet for the last 4 or 5 months.
okay.
all right.
But then again, We didn't have
Right.
snow.
Yeah, I would use.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah,
We've
I-
used
well,
it.
yeah, that,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
just was,
We've
I
had more
just,
ice than snow so far.
Exactly, exactly.
I just thought I had remembered, like, we, like, voted a, payroll, I'm not a payroll, but like a warrant for paying for salt.
So the
Oh,
new,
you're gonna get another one
We
on
did.
Monday.
Yeah, that's.
so the new number will be 816,425.
81645.
All right, budget committee? Anybody?
Do you,
Increasing it by the 2,320 for the trash can and the porta potty. The new number is 816,425. Looking for a motion?
do you have to rescind your old one? like
Oh,
you
yeah,
did
sorry.
before?
Ken, you,
I'll rescind it, yeah.
and Bill, you were the second. Do you rescind?
Sure.
Or rescinded? Do we have a motion? Thoughts? Motion to get talking about it?
I'll make a motion.
Second? To discuss? No motion to discuss?
I'll second it for discussion.
Yeah, okay, discussion, go for it. Thoughts?
I don't want to increase it.
I don't really-
Neither do I.
I don't. I can see your point.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder how much it's gonna be utilized.
That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year it's been, really talked about where we're going forward and changing things. So,
I just don't think we're that far along yet.
I was wondering, that was gonna be my next question as to, where you're at. Where do you think you're gonna be? I mean, I know it's hard to prioritize and move quickly in a lot of ways, but I really definitely think that it needs to be revisited probably
Right.
next budget season.
this was Parks and Rec's second year for the snowshoeing and in cross country. Of course,
Yeah.
again, snow, it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. So this was
No.
only their second year doing that.
I felt bad about, they couldn't skate, they couldn't,
Yeah, wanting to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
My concern with it is if they know they're gonna have these programs, then they gotta put all the rest of the stuff in line with it and come up with a budget rather than all of a sudden have it done.
and that was gonna be another thing. I'm wondering, we pay for the porta potties and the trash, but the addition is, for that, should it be in the park and rec budget or not? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no, like Kennybunk Pond's not, and that one,
Okay.
that was
I
the
just,
same
I didn't
thing,
know,
yeah.
but that would be, something if they're putting that together for
So,
use.
but basically, if Budget Committee is recommending to keep it as is, then we're staying, is that our thought process?
Yep.
Okay, so does anyone want to
Yeah.
make a
You
motion
can't-
to keep the budget what it
Where,
was?
Jeanette said don't
Take
vote.
care of your
You
motion.
said don't-
Okay, so would you like to rescind your motion, Karen?
I will rescind my motion.
We gotta wait for Jeanette.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she said don't vote.
Okay, so Karen, would you like to rescind your motion?
I will rescind my motion.
Would you like to rescind your second?
Yes.
And would someone like to make a motion to keep the budget at $814,105?
I will.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We got a first and a second. All those in favor? Okay, we're back to where we were.
Okay, Vicky had made a motion
Yep.
for the 81415.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
Nope.
Get me in trouble.
That was a discussion. Well,
Talk to the hand.
All in favor?
Get ahead of myself.
Yeah, talk to the hand.
Okay, transfer station, even though we have a new contract, feel like it's kind of leveled out there. Page 24.
I have a question on page 21. There's $480 for fuel hauling, gas for backhoe.
Dave goes and picks it up.
Okay, is this different gas for backhoe than on page
Yes.
23?
This is to get the gas. To go and get the gas.
Oh, that's
And then
just,
the one on
okay,
23 is the actual gas.
It's probably fuel price.
The gas or
Not
diesel?
gas, it's
Whatever.
diesel.
well, whatever, yeah.
The thing that makes it go.
Yes, okay,
The liquid that burns?
So one is
You
to
put
pay
gas in it,
somebody
you got
to
a
go
big bill.
get it. The other one is the actual fuel.
okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have we ever looked at services that come and bring it and pump it right into the machine occasionally with the portable tank?
They don't put it in the machine, they put it in the tank only, we don't want that storage.
Okay. Thank you.
For the amount of fuel they're gonna use.
That's the amount of fuel.
Yeah.
All right, I was just curious if that was ever looked at.
Although I guess you could have somebody come fill it, but they charge you a fortune to do it.
They won't put it in the machine.
They won't even.
No.
They'll put it in a construction machine,
Oh,
they got half a dozen of them that do it,
Oh, okay.
they won't come and do an individual.
Okay, so $345,375. Budget committee voted 6-0. Any further discussion?
I'm trying to get the,
Page 24.
yes.
Report it's in your hands.
So health and wellness,
We have a needle stick and they have to go get, tested, or if they have to go get a shot. If we have, somebody get cut on a rusty thing,
okay.
and we have to sit, we haven't had to use it thankfully,
Mhm.
but just in the event, it's one of those things that
Once
you
upon
never know.
a time, we used to have, when we had new hires, they would have to go,
Physical,
yeah, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it came out, it was, I think that's when we added that line.
yeah, and I think if there's a needle stick or something, we send them to the hospital.
Okay.
I know, we haven't used it, I'm thankful for that.
Well, yeah, I'm thankful for that, yeah.
Make a motion, $345,375.
Second that,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Parks and Rec, $10,310. Budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Ordinance in your hands.
I'm gonna make a motion for $10,310.
second that,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Reserves, computer, equipment, you all agreed 0. This is where it gets tricky. Transfer station compactor reserve, budget committee voted 7,500, 6-0. Discussion, sorry. Board,
so. We do each reserve at a
Yeah,
time,
because they're
that's
separate
not,
orders.
okay, thank you.
Yep.
I thought so.
So moved.
Tom? Second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. We had all the discussion when we came to that,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
town building reserve, $10,000, budget committee voted 6-0.
So moved,
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye,
Reserves, revaluation, 22,000, budget committee voted 6-0.
amen. Missed something.
I'll make a motion for 22,000.
Second.
Yeah, her here. I got it.
Second. Any discussion? in favor?
Aye.
Okay, South Waterboro Road. You guys put forth 50,000 to the budget committee. The budget committee's coming back and making a recommendation of 0. Discussion.
I agree with going 0, but I do not agree with closing out the reserve account. I think that wouldn't be wise. Someday, if the transfer ever does happen, there's gonna be engineering studies, transfer things. There's gonna be expenses that have to be incurred, and if we ever did decide we wanted to pick back up on it, it would still be there. Cause, I don't disagree with the fact that it's probably gonna be a while. There's been, some drive overs, and I think Tom took a ride with Wayne Perry, and they looked at the road and the condition of it and such. And, I don't know that the state's gonna be all in a rush right now. And so that was the general consensus, was it wasn't gonna happen right away. I liked that we were proactive about it. And if we don't close the account out, if we decided in the future that we wanted to pick back up again, we could do that fairly easily by keeping the reserve account.
This isn't the account with the matching funds, is it?
This is the account that they wanted to have matching funds, but maybe Bill can explain what we found out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we found out
So,
some crazy information.
We found out a
Yeah,
lot of
we found
stuff.
out some crazy information. To boil it all down, at $50,000 a year, it would take us about 25 years to save up our portion.
For prices now.
And that's at the current
At
price,
current
which
prices.
is $5 million a mile,
Okay.
okay?
But they only match us, what was the match?
They only match us at, they will do 70%. And we do 30 at a certain population, 50-50 at a certain population, 70-30 at a certain population,
And then it caps out.
and then it caps out.
Mhm.
Now, still, if you're talking that road is 7.5 miles long, that's 35 million. And if our percentage is 50% of that, you're talking $15 million.
So
It's gonna take us, or 17 million, whatever, my math's
Doesn't
correct.
But
the
they-
money cap out?
Money caps out at $600,000.
Yeah, so
That's
they'll
all
say
we get.
$600,000.
They'll
we get
match us
$35.
$600,000 done.
Yeah.
So-
So it's a great deal for the state.
The one thing that we did learn too is you actually can petition and really kind of
Yeah.
harangue them to do it, to go after the state and say, we want this done. They don't transfer or potentially transfer. It's not a done deal if it happens until your population's at 8,000 or 7,500. Your population has to be like 8,000
Transfer ownership.
Yeah,
ownership of the
so
road.
Right now, that road is 100% the state's problem,
Yes.
not ours.
But if we start pushing
We were
buttons,
we were just trying to be nice to grease the wheel, so to speak, and say, hey, if we put up some money, why don't you guys fix this? And it's, at $50,000 a year, it's a bucket of spit. I mean, we might as well not even bother.
Yeah.
So, and I think one of Dave's ideas was, if the state ever said, hey, we're ready to do it, we could bond for it if we needed to.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
still, in my estimation, it's not our road.
I've always felt the same way. It's a state road.
It's a state road. It's not,
Yeah.
why are
And
the
I think-
taxpayers
I
aligned
think
with
we should
paying to
push.
fix this thing?
Many, many years ago, the state, and this is what Morris St. Clair always used to say, that the state wants to give Lyman the road.
Mhm.
Morris stood up and said, no, we don't want that road until it's up to state standards. And then the thing has just gone from there on, and this is what it's come up with. And I may be wrong, but I thought this $50,000 was Brad's idea, thinking that.
No, it was more.
No,
It was
Morris's,
yeah.
and Brad helped.
It was
Brad
Morris's.
was helping.
Mhm.
But this was part of it to get it going.
Yep.
But still-
I remember that discussion.
But by the time we get to put this money up, we put $50,000, as Bill said, okay?
We'll be done.
We've used up
Yeah, we're not gonna be
$100,000 in interest, keeping this money, to pay off. So it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we want to have to bite the bullet, if they come and say, you got the road, then we'll have to bond it.
How did you all come up with this? How did you find out about.
I talked to Wayne Perry.
And then I got
Right.
documents that
Yeah.
showed the maximum cap
Because I
out,
talked to him at one point too, so
which is why we
with
thought.
that compelling information, so
And-
this will be twice tonight that I came.
and-
I am in favor of your recommendation, and I thank you very much for putting in the work on that as well.
Yeah.
And you know, Tom, I'm assuming he's in favor of it also.
I haven't.
They
heard from
let
Tom.
us lead the way on this
Yeah.
because it was our question of why, and that's where we got the information on what the cap was.
Yep.
And he talked to Wayne, and then, I mean, Tom, he didn't even really realize what the 50,000 per year was either, because he's still new and didn't know that either. And like I said, it was Morris's
Yep.
baby. But then when we realized the cap was so low, because I checked with Jeanette on what we qualified for, it was kind of like, oh gee, 600,000, 35 million.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. And
No,
Tom,
If-
I think
It was good
Tom-
research. Yeah, it says it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
They don't add up.
Road, why are we paying for it?
we're years from ever looking at it becoming ours. And again, I think if our road commissioner and our town manager and even the citizens wanted to really push the state hard, they can say it needs to be done. It's a matter of making that push.
But-
And then it's their
I think
money,
that
One
not
of the
ours.
things that I've always not been in favor of getting it is the way that it's been maintained over the years. You're spitting into the wind.
Yep.
It's not solving a problem. You're just putting a Band-Aid, Band-Aid,
Mhm.
Band-Aid, Band-Aid, and the
Yep.
roadbed continues to suffer.
That's where the push to have them do a full reconstruct is our road commissioner needs to make that recommendation, and the citizens of Lyman need to make that recommendation, is what we found out. If the citizens and our road commissioner can get behind it and push the state, they want the reconstruct and not just the skim coat, because that's what
Yeah.
they're doing, and it's not holding up, as we all
As soon as
know.
the frost comes, that's it.
Yeah,
There's-
it's done.
Do
So
we-
I'm willing to look into that to see what it would take for a town to really push the state to do it. Just check it out.
Just go the other way in the winter.
If that account stayed open with because it says currently we have $101,000 in there, could that be invested in a way that would make more than just like the regular interest?
Yep.
You know,
Or could
versus
you reallocate that to
closing.
other reserves and take care of compactor evaluation, assessing tables, fund that resident disaster and charter commission.
And
And
get
not
them
have to
all.
increase your reserves.
Well, you also want to be careful not to create peaks and valleys.
Yeah, but I don't think, a lot of these are new,
But-
so you wouldn't,
But
maybe not
for,
all of them, but the ones that
Yeah.
are brand new.
So I guess it's a two-party question on, do you want to fund it?
I don't think we should this year.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys are in consensus with that, you don't have to vote it, 'cause it's not going in.
Yeah.
Do you want to close it? Because that has to be a warrant article.
Take it to the people and let them decide what they want to do with it. Whether they want to keep it or not for that particular cause. It's $100,000. That ain't chump change.
Yeah, it's a
No.
lot of money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like,
When you look at that road repair.
Yeah,
yeah,
great.
it's,
That's true.
I like Karen's idea of if it's closed, using that money to fund the reserve accounts, you know?
Okay, you have to ask, hang on, let me just explain. You can't just decide where you're gonna put it. So it has to be a warrant
Mhm.
article to say, to close the South Waterboro Reserve account and put it. So you have to ask to put it somewhere.
But either
Does that make
way,
sense?
that would offset the tax burden, wouldn't it?
Mhm.
So if we worded the article to just, to remove that account and take the money to offset the tax burden to the town this year, then,
That sounds right. to me.
that takes
That's
care
the
of it.
easiest way to do it.
Yeah, I
Can
think
we do
so.
that, Jeanette?
You can do that. You can ask
Good.
them. They may say no, but you can ask
So
them.
do we need a motion from both of us or what?
No,
So we can.
they just, what they'll do, Lindsay and I will write the article. And when you guys do your warrant, you'll approve it then.
Got it.
You can put that in more than one place there, right? I mean.
No, she's gonna use it
Yeah,
to offset taxes.
But that way it goes to
Well,
what
no,
it's
you
already,
can say 50% to offset taxes and 50% to X.
Good. but
But I think you're better off, because you're already funding the reserve accounts, right?
Mhm.
So that's just gonna indefinitely, you know.
plus it was tax money that got us there.
Correct.
So why don't we give it back
Back to
Yeah.
that
tax.
way?
Great idea.
Okay, so we're to close and offset fiscal year 25 taxes.
And that doesn't create a peaks and valley?
No.
A little one.
Smile,
A
small
little one, but it's
Yeah,
Just do
but
things.
it's not
Okay.
gonna create a huge one.
because the school
It's
will
a
come
hundred
create one.
thousand out of, what's the total?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 million?
4 million.
No, if you had the school in.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that yet. No one wants to cry tonight.
Yeah, everybody forgets the school. but-
Oh, no, I have not.
Oh,
Really
gosh.
forgot the
My
school.
stomach hurts already.
Yeah. That's painful.
Okay.
Not to mention the county.
All right, let's move on. So the assessing table update with our 3-year plan is 37.5. The budget committee voted 6-0. Board, it's in your hands.
Do we do it each line?
Yes.
Yep.
So the 37.5, you have to vote on to do the update on the assessing table, and we had that 3-year plan, where we're gonna ask to move whatever balance is there on for this year, do the 37.5 for next year, and do the 37.5 for the year after that, and in the meantime, write the write the RFP so that we can get somebody online, because everybody's doing it right now.
Okay, I make a motion for 37.5.
Second that,
Any discussion?
for the assessing table updates.
All in favor?
I,
And the next one is the capital improvement. You guys put forth 15,000. Budget committee is recommending 0, and basically it was because of the lack of a capital improvement plan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's-
Pretty much, yeah.
Board. Thoughts?
still want to fund it. Capital improvements are going to include doing this building at some point. I know there's a plan in place, and I don't know what has happened with that lately, but I don't know about you, but I feel like we are outgrowing this building.
I just paid the engineer's bill, you'll see.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere else in the budget, I think.
There is a town hall.
Yeah, there's the
It's
expansion.
at the beginning.
There's town hall expansion.
budget.
But there's always things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
Jeanette, how does this differ with 191? Capital improvement.
So these are reserves, and this capital improvement is a reserve account that sits off and it doesn't close out at the end of the year. So 191 is short-term capital improvements. We purchased the online payment system this year with that. We purchased 2 of the printers out front. That's not a major capital improvement.
Okay.
Does that make sense,
Yeah,
Karen?
thank you.
Okay.
There's $116,000 in it right now.
Right.
Right.
Which is why we voted to do 0
That's
this
why we
year,
voted to go 0, because you've got plenty of money in it.
because there were other reserve accounts that took care of other
Yes.
things.
I think we looked at, like, we've got the building at Bunganut, the shed that we have to now
Yep.
come up with. So we were thinking, if I remember correctly, we were
Yes.
talking about capital improvement.
That was part of the motion, I believe.
If we just now have the storm, we don't know what Bunganut looks like. We might need to tap into capital improvement for that. I feel like I make a motion that we fund that for 15,000.
Second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted, I think in remembering the discussions that we had, we understood where you were saying there's no plan. But as time has been going on, plans are being developed, and that was always a line item people were afraid to get into. You know, is it really capital improvement? Can we go someplace? But we have been using it. So I think it definitely is something that we need to keep funding because things are needing to be improved and replaced. Things are getting old.
Plus,
I wondered if there was a, like a sort of a threshold that you want to maintain in that account. Like we have 116,000. How much more do you add to it, or do you say,
Right.
we want to keep this much in that account? So you have a cap of some sort.
I don't know if that's ever been
That I
asked
think-
or answered.
Yeah.
Because I mean, a shed's gonna be what, 5,000-6,000 or something like for a shed. So again, we're
Yeah.
talking 116,000 in there, and you're using it for printers and a shed and
No.
other you know, you didn't use it for a printer.
That's
There,
No,
that was the
that's-
other one.
that's
The other one.
That Karen was asking
We've got
about.
Okay.
a generator
Yeah.
out here that doesn't take
Yeah.
care of
That
it.
would be
Yeah.
a different capital improvement fund.
Would the generator be something
Generator.
That
different?
191.
Town hall generator would be, come out of this fund.
You could?
Then there'd be another 5,000, so you got 100.
Oh, no, that'd be more than that.
More than
That-
that.
But there, we have
It's-
You
actually
need a whole new
talked about
panel.
expending some of that already.
It just,
Yeah.
I hear you, what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, put a number that you want to keep it,
Yeah.
it up to,
So,
because you don't know what you're gonna spend if you don't have a capital plan. If we have a capital improvement plan, I agree with you. But I don't think we're there, we're not that far advanced, but we do, these things that come up. It's nice to have that, like this last storm, this place was down, generator was down, it's not hooked up to the heating system.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, something like that,
Mm.
you know, you have a generator, you usually want to keep your heat
It's, I
going.
think, we need to really look at that too.
Yeah, and then we close the town hall, so then you,
What was paid out
So-
of that account last year? You know?
so.
What was your-
What we say,
No,
what we're gonna put in there?
Sorry.
15 on top of 116.
and so, I mean, you replace the generator, you're gonna, okay, so you use 16, you got 100. We can do the other.
Okay, so if,
Okay, let's have conversations together.
I understand your point, what you just said, but, I mean, what if the storm was a little less gentle and we blew the roof off of this place?
I'm not sure that's capital improvement.
I mean, what do you,
That, this, an improvement is like.
okay, so we need a disaster, reserve as well then? I'm just saying, if something like that came up and you know how fast insurance companies work.
Mm.
And you had to do something to protect your a town building or whatever. I don't know, just a thought.
Well, guess what, you can do like you said before, you can go to the townspeople.
You guys want to vote?
Yeah, well,
We have a motion
Yep.
right there, I'll second it.
I already said.
Yeah, Vicky seconded.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're in discussion.
Yes, we're in discussion.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
All in favor?
Okay.
And then I think we should take Karen's suggestion and vote.
Yeah, I think we should
Yeah, I
definitely
think-
talk about
yes.
that.
We did.
We did talk about
we did
that,
talk
yeah,
about it,
yeah.
And I think that's a good idea.
Okay, next up is resident disaster relief. So we're funding that at 5,000. We currently have 12. Budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Four.
I make a motion for 5,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Okay, next up is Buckingham Park. It's new. Budget committee voted 20,000, 6-0. Discussion. Board.
This money we took from Kennybunk and moved it down there. Okay. I make a motion to approve 20,000.
Second,
Any
Fire hydrants, you all had the chief's plan. Budget committee voted 4,060. Discussion.
So moved at $4,000.
Second.
Any
Fire
discussion?
hydrant.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, benefits reserve, $7,715. Budget committee voted 6-0. Discussion. Board,
Why are we having a reserve for this?
because the thought is, so once we get, and I think this would be the last year, once we get up to a certain earmark, then we have enough to use for when people leave. You know, when, 10% is now all of a sudden 14%, those kind of things.
And when is enough enough?
I'd
On
say
this
this
one
is gonna
as
be the
well?
last
This is
year,
last year.
unless we use it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a motion?
So moved.
Who made the motion?
Tom.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And last but not least, Charter Commission, $1,000. Budget Committee approved 6-0. Discussion. Board,
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
okay, Goodwin Mills Fire and Rescue, I gave you their 2 sheets. One sheet is for their budget, it says GMFR proposed 24-25 budget on the bottom. The other one is GMFR proposed with additional hours. So they're coming down to, they need to add, I think it's 60 hours. Basically what's happening, and this is not unusual, I've heard this story many times, is everybody goes to work somewhere else. So they're stopped during the day for coverage because the volunteers or the call-in, they're not here, they're out there working somewhere. The other problem that they're running into is safety. So Arundel, and I'm just saying, don't quote me on the name, okay? But some of the other towns have 3 people on staff. So we talked a lot about retention and recruitment this year and what that means to everybody. And we're gonna come to that again tonight. So would you rather work on an ambulance where there's 3 people or where there's 2 people for the same amount of money? So that's something to keep in mind. When they had the budget meeting for GMFR, it was recommended, which was an awesome recommendation, that we put the budget in one article. And then we do the additional hours as a separate article and let people decide. Okay, so that's where we are with that. So Matt's asking for a vehicle reserve of $60,000. Nobody has voted this. Budget committee.
I move we give them 60,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Board,
I moved $60,000 for the vehicle reserve for the Goodwin Mills Fire Department.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
they're looking for $16,000 for the facility.
So moved.
Second.
Just
Hang on,
to let everybody know, I went to the meeting, so I
Okay.
got all the information. on
Cool.
this.
Excellent.
Yep,
All those in favor?
I was there too.
Board,
So. Oh. No, you need to go.
I move $16,000 for the facility reserve for the Goodwin's Mills Fire Rescue Reserve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Building reserve, they're asking for 14,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Wait a minute, what was the count?
All
I
five,
don't write
all of
that
us,
fast. Okay,
all five.
okay. Or,
Make a motion for 14,000 for the building for GMFR.
I second
Any discussion? All in favor?
that. Aye.
okay. Judge had this,
Next question. On the budget here for this, you're gonna have an article that's gonna say whether they're gonna do the 750,000 or the 680,000.
Nope, we're gonna have an article that says, when we get down to that section, I jumped ahead myself
Oh, okay.
talking about it, but we're gonna have an article that says the 452,000 and the 200,000 for the budget. And we're gonna have a separate article asking for the difference for the additional hours.
So
So,
$102,000 additional.
Somewhere around there, I'm not quite there yet, sorry, Ken.
Yeah. Yeah.
54,000,
54,000.
That
because we
hurts
split
half.
it,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
that's
Our
our
portion is
People are
54,000.
70/30.
Yeah, it's-
Something like that.
70% of personnel are paid. Thereabouts.
70.
Yeah.
Okay, outsourced general administration. Page
27.
Mhm.
28 is that total?
Oh, the total.
Yeah.
Get me, got me.
That's okay.
All right.
You think you're Mickey? Yes.
I'm just teasing.
I know,
If I can't have fun, I'm not doing it.
I know, I hear you. Okay, so the budget committee voted $130,650, discussion? Or?
Any motion? Oh,
I make a motion that we approve $130,650 to fund outsourced general admin.
I'll second that.
I can't name all these lines.
Any discussion?
Question. Flags. Those numbers are all over the place. Where my, went from, surprise, my colleague to the right of me.
I was very happy that it went from 8,500 to 4,200, so I just thought I would spare all of you.
I hear you.
So,
But what's the
So-
68,000?
That's when we voted in that extra 60 for tree cutting.
That we're still waiting to reimburse.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
it's to keep my numbers in line at the bottom that you don't actually see.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, that explains. I was just like, those numbers.
Like, whoa.
Yeah, 68, no, 42. Yeah, that's a lot of.
All in favor?
Aye.
Outsourced other. So for both of you, the library has not changed. Lyman Historical Society has not changed. PSAPs. In your packet, I gave you the contract with Bedford Lyman. This is the 911 system relay stuff. So I figured them at 9%, they came in at 11%. Reading through their stuff, they're having the same issue, keeping their people. So that is a new number than what I had originally anticipated.
Okay.
You're talking the
The piece at the bottom.
47,512 in the agreement.
45, 250 is for
Yeah, for this year.
24, 25.
That's what we have to vote on, because we,
About next year.
any motion on this side for 45, 250?
No, wait,
Do we have to do that?
No, we have to do it.
Oh, the total?
Yep. So, so Ken had originally motioned,
Ken, would you like to rescind your motion? Since-
Yeah.
Karen, would you like to rescind?
I will be saying.
Okay, we're rescinded. Um,
206,410.
Do I have a motion? For 206, 410, Ken, do I have a second?
There it is.
Second.
Got a first and a second, all those in favor?
Board,
Weren't they raising the line item number?
So full disclosure, this has the library budget where I'm employed, so I don't know if I should be voting
You
on
probably
the
want to
whole
abstain.
number,
We'll probably want
you
to
know?
abstain.
Yeah, I want to abstain from the library part, but the other numbers. So,
it's one article, so.
yeah, so, okay, I'm going to abstain.
206,410.
I'm pretty long. I don't
And
know
what-
where-
I'm
Page
sorry.
30,
Yeah, why
Top
is
of
it
30.
different? What's the difference?
The PSAP
The
was higher.
PSAP
Oh,
was
okay.
for,
I
yeah.
figured it at 9%, it came in at 11,
Got it.
so.
I make a motion that we accept the 206, 410.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
That's the amended
That's the
number
old-
with the rate.
Hold on.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Three, and one abstain.
Okay, outsourced GMFR. So we're gonna have two articles. If you look.
Yeah.
At the one, there's $652,630. That's for the regular budget.
I'm sorry, can you say that again? I
Yeah.
lost where we were.
So on page 30, right in the smack in the middle,
Okay,
Department 186. So the first two lines are personnel and contract, and that is, you see the 650
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it.
yep, okay.
That's the proposed budget
Okay,
without the additional
Correct.
numbers.
with other 54 is 65, yeah.
Is the additional difference that Lyman would be responsible for. So I need a
But
vote
for
for
this-
both numbers,
Okay,
not together though.
Where does that tie into these though?
So,
this is the extra article that they're gonna vote on for
I
Lyman's
understand
portion.
that, But this here is opposed, this is here is the actual budget then. The numbers don't come out right.
so,
It's,
let me show you.
yeah, it's,
So if you look at the first section, right?
Yeah.
This is the proposed budget. So if you look at this side,
On the backside.
Yeah.
Lyman personnel,
Uh-huh.
71,
right here.
18%, 452. Okay, Lyman operations, 200.
When we were at that budget
then
meeting,
if you
he had said
take-
he was gonna get back to us with the amount that they were gonna be able to take out.
Oh, Yeah, no.
Did they,
Oh,
It
did
was the
he get in
backside.
touch
This
with
is-
anybody?
This is
It
the
would be her.
total.
Okay.
Do you get
She
that?
wasn't
And then what I
working
did
on some
was
stuff on
I
the
took
warrants. I know she was in
This one, I
vacation.
took
I don't
the
know if she
Lyman
got the numbers.
personnel,
Okay,
the
I'll have to
additional
ask.
hours, got the difference, and I
Was it
took
working?
the operations.
Question?
So this is the total amount, those,
Did you get that, Sharon?
Yeah.
Are you good, Bill?
So we're voting,
Everybody else okay?
we're voting on these two numbers.
When we were at the fire department for the meeting, for the budget, they talked about the amount, taking 25,000 out of the, their
Yeah.
it's the, like a reserve that they get,
EMS.
their money that they collect for ambulance. But he was,
Oh, he didn't tell me that.
Okay, because he had said 25, but he had thought that they would go higher.
Maybe, almost like 30.
Yeah, I want to say that.
Does our
That's,
liaison have any news about
but he said he was going to get back to
He said he was
us.
gonna get back to us, and I thought when you were
Didn't
asked,
know anything about it.
I'm sure he's had a busy couple days, yeah.
Should we hold on it?
I can make
I
another
got 6 calls between 9 and 9:02 for Tuesday.
no kidding.
The fire department calls.
I mean,
So
if
it
it,
looks like he
I've
wrote
called
it
you.
in.
Can we call Chief? I'll call Chief.
yeah, could you?
Because that's one of the last things we have to do, right?
Yeah, so he put it in the budget, because he had.
Yeah, he put 25 in, but he said that they were looking at the numbers and they thought they would be able to increase that. And he said he was going to let everybody know within the week or so.
Hasn't changed, and I talked to him, he's at a conference.
Is he?
Yeah, he might have answered.
Hey, Chief.
Okay, there you
Tom.
go.
How you doing? We're just in here doing budgets. And we were looking at the, what would the offset be from EMS? We have a 25,000. Did that number change?
7,665.
My question is why?
Okay, all right. That's what we needed to know.
We already approved some of this.
Nope, that puts it right in line with where we're at.
Capital.
Okay.
The reserve account stuff. We just voted on.
Yeah, no problem. No, hopefully you're someplace warm. Oh, can't beat that.
It's
That's not
because
bad.
it's a capital fund.
Yeah, no, things are going well.
We're paying this much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Mike,
No, it was just a few
to
minutes
the
ago.
best of his knowledge, it has not changed. He was supposed to hear from Jared.
Okay.
He was gonna talk to Kat.
Yeah, I think they're treasurer.
Okay,
So,
so we might have to come back to this, but.
Well,
I mean, it's only gonna get better.
Right.
I have a question about it. Some of this stuff on the back here, the back of the page,
Yeah.
that does not have the extra hours on it, has the capital, the reserve account numbers on it, and we just voted on that.
Right.
So is that's not part of
This one.
the overall number?
Yeah, no,
so
it's
if you
not.
look-
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't, 'cause,
You're doing duplicate, I get you.
yeah, it's back. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
you said it was so far, so long ago, can't find it.
Okay, so you see
Yeah.
this 452?
Yep,
That's the 452.
okay,
And then Lyman operations 200. That's the 200.
alrighty.
And that's the regular, those two added together is the regular budget. And then what I did, and now this is confusing me, is so that it's 54. If I take that number, deduct the new number. I don't know where your one is with the, here it is.
Right, we got them both next to each other.
So if you take 506, 423, and you deduct 452, it's 54. But I see this over here with Matt, I'm gonna have to ask him about that.
They're all different.
Okay, so should we, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna have to meet again, all of us? to-
Isn't that
to
just
figure this
showing the
out, or-
difference? It's
or
not
we-
Well,
showing-
let's go to 54 and then I'll ask Matt.
It's not showing,
Right.
I don't understand why he has the 7.
but it's just showing a difference. It's not showing,
What does that difference column reflect?
does that really impact what we're looking at? Isn't it already reflected?
No, not Amy.
He's just showing the difference.
I had 3.
Well, this one has the 452 that we're voting for personnel,
Uh-huh.
and then the 200 and, I don't know where that is on here.
Yeah, that's the
200,
operations.
271.
Um, Yeah.
So I think the 25,000
4.3.
is already considered, because they're just showing the difference, wasn't that what you're saying? Because it's not,
Yep.
Now, if you take those two and subtract.
Right.
The difference.
Correct.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was saying. I wasn't saying it wasn't showing. We were told that
Oh,
he
is
was
there
thinking
more?
there could be more
More,
money taken out, so that number would have gone
increased
down.
again. Okay.
So I wanted to know if we had heard if that was gonna be more or not. And I know I abstained from this vote, the outsourced,
Yeah.
but the number that the board voted on, was that the 207, 541?
No,
206,
410.
And that includes the increase?
Yes.
Yes.
I see where you're going.
I'm like, well, if there's 157, 291 for the library, 5,000 and 45, 250, that comes out to
Yeah,
207, 541. But we voted 206, or you all voted 206, 410.
you're right.
So
Okay.
someone's gonna be
Okay.
short
I see what you're saying. Got it.
Oh, yeah.
Eleven.
One number over. All right,
$1,131.
so Ken,
Okay,
Well, no,
Ken, we
Bring it back.
can I have attention,
we voted
please?
the wrong number.
Jeanette needs the gavel.
Good job. So Amber just noticed that there's a formula error.
Yep.
In department number 185. So it should be $207,541.
So I'm gonna have Ken, would you like to rescind your motion?
Yep.
Karen, would you like to rescind?
Sure.
Okay, do I have a motion for 207,541? Which is now the accurate number for the increase that we had for the outsourced other.
Page
It's,
30.
Page 30,
30,
top,
right at the
Yeah,
top.
so
right at the top of 30.
I know, it's like,
Where the two is. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wait, I think we needed more money, but we voted less.
11%.
Got a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Do you have a motion?
I have a first. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Who's the first?
Ken,
Ken, okay.
Dave second. All those in favor? Okay, we got all 5 of us.
Right, we've rescinded ours, now we just need a motion.
I'll do it again. I make a motion for the corrected 207,541.
And I'll second that. Any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Good catch.
Nice catch. Thank
She
you.
is.
Yeah.
She's right on it. I had-
Everybody, I
Good like that.
looked through it several times, but,
I'm the deal, I thought I missed
okay,
something.
so
Me
now
too.
back to
Me too.
GMFR.
Yes.
I know, everybody's getting punchy, we're almost done.
Yeah, I just,
Almost there.
You guys
Can
are
you
almost done.
explain this number?
So the total of $706,695 is the personnel, the contract or the operations
Mhm.
that they're asking for, that's their regular budget, and 54,000 for additional hours.
that's what they're gonna go into the separate article?
Yes,
So
So
we're
you
not
have
gonna
to-
put that into the separate article, it's gonna go in here.
it's gonna be a separate article, Dave.
We're voting
Okay,
on-
but I mean, that's what it's included in this number.
Right,
So if it gets voted down,
No, we're
No,
voting,
no.
we're voting on these two numbers.
what's this one?
so you see the
Yeah, this is the
652?
additional hours, it's gonna be a
Separate,
separate
yes.
warrant
I'm
article.
sorry.
We're gonna be
I
doing
didn't-
the vote here.
I understand.
No, I think that was a
just
great
wanna make sure
suggestion.
that's what the number is.
So you're gonna vote the 652,630 for article number 1 and 54,065 for article number 2,
Okay,
separately.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay,
that's
so
what my question was.
Yeah.
I didn't see.
did you guys follow that?
Okay,
You good?
gotcha.
All right, so I will entertain a motion for 652,630.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Okay. And then I will entertain a motion for $54,065.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ken. All those in favor? Okay.
Four?
We make a motion for ditto?
Second, same.
I make a motion for $652,630 for the GMFR contract service outsourced contract.
And personnel. I'll second
And
that.
personnel, yes, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll second that.
Any discussion?
If there is a difference, if they're with the 25,000, will that reflect in that number? If Cap comes back tomorrow?
No.
It'll show up in
It'll show up
next
in the
year's
next one.
surplus.
So we're gonna go with, okay, all right.
No, if they come back and change.
Oh, if they change it,
So let's,
yeah, we can always
let's
make it
finish
less,
our
we just can't make
area
it more.
here.
Yeah.
And
And
then,
that would
Yeah,
be the case.
But we
It
can,
would be less.
On the
okay,
floor, we could do it.
yeah.
not in this number though, that we're talking about right now. Because the
Okay.
number we're talking about right now is their proposed budget.
As written.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
All in favor?
Thank you.
okay, the additional hours of $54,065.
So moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so just to wrap up that whole craziness on, so we're gonna check with the 25,000. And then I see Matt has 70,000 here, but that number does not work out. So it may be that we have to come back here for
I got
this,
one vote, got it.
okay?
Yeah.
All right,
And, okay,
what?
we don't necessarily have to do that together if it works out,
Right.
No, you don't have to.
like, we have a meeting Monday,
Yeah.
so.
That works out, Zach.
No, he has 70,000, so if you take 506, 423,
Yeah, but
And
the
deduct the
70,000 is the
425.
difference between last year's budget and his great super budget.
could be, I
If
don't
you
know.
subtract the 16,391, you come up with exactly 54,065.
All
All
right.
right, so
Yeah.
unless they
I'm gonna give
change,
Rusty props on that one.
I'm, go Rusty.
And
Fire.
Me and my calculator. Okay.
Okay, so we may have to come back, we may not. I'm gonna push for no. See how I am. Last page, CIP other. These are small capital improvement things that we're doing. We have tree maintenance for $5,000 at Onion this year. Just to give you a hint.
What page are you on?
The last page,
Last page.
32 of 32.
Oh, you're doing the whole number.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
So is that town hall next phase, we get of the town hall reserve, but that's different?
different. So that's what we're paying, that's what we've been paying to get the plans together. We had a guy come out to test, okay, I'm not gonna get these technical terms right, not right now anyway. So they came out and they did a study, can we go that way, can we go that way, can we go that way, can we go up? We've been paying that out of that. This is to do the preliminary work.
Land studies,
Yeah.
perk test type things, core,
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Those are wetlands,
Yeah, right now it's basically,
everything's
said-
wetland.
they said how much we can go either way. Do not put on top of this building because this building won't sustain that. And the plans are coming back, so you guys are gonna see Monday night that we have some consultant people. I'm sorry, it's late.
All right.
It's been a long day.
We're good.
I'm being very technical right now. Okay, and budget committee voted $95,861. Discussion.
I would just like to make a little note for the poison ivy mitigation. We've been looking into it for Bunganut, and it's way cheaper to use goats,
Yeah,
just so you know.
So.
we might end up.
So
getting
I
I know
just-
some people around here. that
Yeah,
have
they
lots
rent
of
out goats, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like $200 for the setup, and it's like $150 a day. So, and they do a better job than the other stuff that's better for the environment too. And you get fertilizer.
Anything.
Yeah, and then they say at some point they get it right down to the root.
Cutting it way back, because it hadn't been cut
Right.
back for years.
Right. So I was
And
just
we wanna
wanted
make
to
sure
make
it stays back.
make the recommendation, maybe goats. They
Yeah.
pen them in and they do their thing.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done. Oh, I did have one more thing. Where Bunganut is like a hot mess with trees everywhere, is there any way to make like the tree maintenance like a non-lapsing account where someone comes in and just takes care of the scary stuff every winter? We seem to have like a hot mess over there with,
You know
That's
what?
because it hasn't been maintained
Yeah,
it hasn't.
properly. Once it starts getting maintained properly.
right. So maybe a non-lapsing account for right now where we could put money in so that like some of the widowmaker stuff like you saw when we were down there and some of the bigger trees that are a little more an arborist.
Don't do it from the south.
How about if we put it
If they're
in
dead.
buildings and grounds
Right?
Uh-huh.
as part of the maintenance line
Yeah.
for next year?
Okay. Yeah, thank
Like
you.
that?
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on, I gotta write this.
Like you can get rid of the dead stuff.
Hey, tell them, let me cut mine, you can't get yours.
I never had any trouble
You have to talk to
when I could prove a dangerous condition. All I had to do was bring pictures.
This old my insurance company told them, take them down. They did.
Okay,
Buggers.
any more discussion on other CIP? Get board. You're at $95,861.
So moved.
Second,
Any discussion? Any more? All in favor?
aye.
Budget committee, I thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
You
you.
guys aren't going anywhere. Don't get excited. You're welcome.
Too late. Already excited.
Wow.
You're welcome to stay. Thank you. The revenue.
I was already thinking of the snacks I was gonna eat when I got home.
We'll be doing the revenue portion, if you'd like to
I
go
knew there was
home
another
and-
thing of paper here. she was
and
looking
Yes.
take everything this year. It's been a
Yeah,
pleasure.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you, select board. Pleasure. Pleasure working with everyone.
Way better than some meetings I can remember.
Amen to that.
This should be it.
No, this is it. This is it. The only thing that we may have to come back for, Jeanette said, is the, if the fire chief comes back with a different number, we might have to come and vote
I don't even know.
one
if we have
number.
anything.
I don't think we will because it'll just make the number less.
Right, so what, can we do that before
Let's do it that
versus
day.
bring everyone back?
Come on, take it.
It's been nice
I
talking to
said
you.
30 minutes, but.
I know, I'm disappointed.
15, 20. I don't want you to get carried away. You know?
I have no
Thank you very much, you guys. It has been a
I called
pleasure,
somebody?
I wanna say.
No,
Or-
Dawn called you, Gary.
Oh, yes, yes, I did talk to him.
I
Yes,
talked to him today,
Yeah.
too.
yeah, I did talk to him.
I think it was. I'm not hearing this.
Yeah, you guys got it. I'm gonna write it down.
You know?
Yes, I'm confused or something.
All right.
That works.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome to
Good
stay if you
discussion.
want.
I don't think anybody wants to. say.
I know, they're all getting the,
No, you can throw it out. She did a number on it anyways, that dog. Stinker.
No, I'm hungry.
Because, I mean, this is the-
Oh, boy, I get lots of carry back. Thank you,
Oh, I did,
sir.
I'll bring mine back Monday. I don't.
I still have money.
Oh,
I got a pile of stuff to bring back. And I still haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's how it's-
Well, now you got those over. them.
And thank you, Jeanette.
6 years
For all
ago.
your hard work and everything you do
6
for
years ago,
us.
3 years ago.
Rally and the groups that are
It's
keeping
really
this
rough.
in line.
Is this, you have.
Okay.
This is mine.
So we're on the revenue portion, revenue recommendations, there's 3 pages. There's my recommendations on the top, there's the fund balance
Oh.
is your next page, and the last page is the, excise.
Excise tax history.
Yep. So, for surplus, I like to be consistent and not keep major peaks and valleys. You guys have heard me talk about this
Mhm.
before. So I feel like if we go to 900,000, we can keep that consistent for a period of time versus throwing it all in there this year and then not having anything next year. Okay, if you look at the fund balance, if we take out everything, that leaves us with $1,144,000. You guys follow me? So if we throw 900,000 at
Oh, yeah,
it,
okay, down at the bottom, okay.
yeah, I feel comfortable. So you have your audited fund balance, some of those you can't touch because they're restricted. So our true unrestricted fund balance is 4,978,000. Okay? I need, you voted money from articles over the year, so I've deducted that. And I deduct, the school may change, but I estimated, I'm kind of hoping that's where they come in. So I need at least 3 months worth of cash to get through those lean months. So that gives you a difference that you could play with of 1.144. I'm comfortable with 900,000. Thoughts?
So in the list of things here that get paid, I don't see Historical Society in there.
Oh, good point, that's 5,000.
And so, yeah. So I don't know if that would make much of a difference.
No,
Okay,
not enough,
okay.
but I am gonna add it.
Would you be comfortable making that same explanation at town meeting? Because
Absolutely.
I think you could say it a lot better than me.
Well, last year I
I can't
actually,
speak for everybody else, but
No, should
I
we-
actually had this sitting on the table last year so people could see, but yes.
I
We
remember
asked
it being
for her to be-
contentious at a time.
Yeah, it has been, and then
So this is good that we're doing
Then
this.
I broke this out so people could understand that, hey, it's not 5 million that we can play with. You have to deduct the restricted ones. It's 4.8, but I gotta have this cash flow
Mhm.
Yep.
during our lean months.
No, I mean, you
Yeah.
explained it very well in a way that
Thank you,
I appreciate it.
thank you.
Yeah, it brought a lot of anxiety down last year when you did it.
I did, there was one person who didn't pick this up at the door. I'm like, it's right over there. So are you guys feeling good with 900,000?
Yeah, I think that's a good number.
I think so
Yeah,
too.
goods,
If you're,
yeah.
looking at hills and valleys, I'd like to say, let's do a little bit more this year, but if we can't continue that,
I don't know if I can do 900
then,
next
but so
year.
if, that, right, so
Hmm.
that's what I mean, with the hills,
Yeah. Because we're getting better at getting department heads to look at their budgets, to, hey, by the way, you've got this left, you've got that left. So we're moving along in a really good fashion. I'm not sure if we could sustain it. I feel like next year I could say, yeah, let's throw 900,000 in. I feel comfortable with that, even the year after.
So we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah,
huh?
that's what I'm thinking. Do you feel comfortable with that, Vicky?
I do,
I want to stay away from peaks and valleys.
I trust your judgment in it because this is
Thank
your
you.
job, and same thing I said previously about letting people do their jobs, like, I don't want to second guess or micromanage too much, but I also do want to understand it, and so
Yeah.
this is very helpful to me to be able to understand it.
And we look at it, we look at it and look at it and look at it and look at it. So sometimes fresh eyes are really a good thing to have. So.
Especially Amber's today.
I think that,
That's great.
I think that the residents of the town will see that we have increased what we're taking out of surplus to help alleviate the tax burden. And that, they'll appreciate that, so.
Where would that, that $100,000, if we get rid of that, if the townspeople vote to get rid of that reserve account for the Waterboro Road, would that
If we put it-
$100,000 make
It
any
will go
difference
onto
in
this
changes?
list.
It'll go onto the list, and
Yeah,
then we'll take it from there after
right,
that.
right. So when Lori goes to do your taxes, I will give her these numbers plus that $100,000, because she gets all the numbers from me, what got voted, what didn't get voted, and how much it got voted for. And then I give her the revenues as well, and she applies that as your miscellaneous revenues on the tax rate calculation that she does.
Nice.
Okay.
Do we know what this budget puts on right now? Is that a crazy question?
No, it's not a crazy question at all.
I'm just wondering,
That's a good
when it
question.
comes to the surplus, when we take more or less.
Yeah,
what
and-
is
Okay.
our-
So right now. I thought I had it. Yes, it is. So 2024 was 44.400. And where we are at, hence the voting, because I know we took out South Waterboro Road. I had it at 4.6, so minus 50,000 and any other changes we made tonight. So 4.5 maybe. So we're still under LD1. County came in at 27,000 more with their projections. So we kind of waiting on the school. I did email Colin, asked him. He said we won't have any numbers until their final meeting, which is in the middle of April. So we're just kind of sitting back waiting for them.
So if we have to wait for those numbers, we could get a clearer picture of the tax rate after that,
Yeah, I won't know until the school comes in
right?
at
So
all.
That's how it goes, but,
Yeah,
I appreciate this budget cycle, you guys. I feel like we cooperated, that we learned from each other, made some mistakes and fixed them. And I pledge to continue the spirit of cooperation in the same fashion to the best of my ability.
That feels a lot.
okay,
Yeah.
so we gotta do some more
Yeah.
voting, sorry.
Yeah.
Surplus, 900,000. And excise, 900,000, 918, 1.8. You have to vote this, it's in the warrant article. So we're gonna say 900,000 from surplus, 900,000 from excise. I think we can sustain that as long as the vehicle market doesn't start dropping to death.
What about the transfer station, this 30,000?
You don't have to vote that, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, I make
So
a
do you-
motion that we
oh, okay.
take $900,000 out of surplus to offset the tax burden.
Add them together. Yeah, because it's one article,
Okay, so,
1.8.
1.8 million from surplus and excise
Yeah.
to offset the tax burden for the fiscal year 2025.
I'll second that.
More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Tom looks like he's sleeping. Okay, so,
Hungry.
so in the, oh, sorry. So we got stuff.
Oh, that's fine.
On,
That can make a difference now.
so the transfer station went with COVID, right? $56,000 over first year, $56,000 over the next year. We depleted their reserves from getting their metal money. And so we haven't used any of that money since then, trying to get everything back on track. We used to say, okay, 20,000 from the transfer station, because they pay in their fees and stuff for the beds and things like that. We didn't do that last year or this year to get them back on track. So I'm recommending we go back to that, because everything's back on track now with them. So I'd like to see 30,000 come out of the transfer station revenues. Last year it was 56,000, which we put into the whole amount into the reserve account. So anything that's left over of the 30,000, say it's 50,000, 20,000 is gonna go in the reserve account.
Do we know what's in there right now?
56,000-ish.
In the reserve account?
And
Okay.
We talked
Well,
about,
beyond
compactor replacement.
Huh?
We talked about compactor replacement, and that's why we put money in a reserve account for compactor replacement, but, would that be a wise thing to do as well?
So you guys wrote an article several years ago that said the transfer station can keep their metal money. And we always used whatever else was brought in to offset taxes.
Oh, okay,
It's about 30,000.
so that
We
was
just-
voted on by the people.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Okay.
That was a warrant article and it's never been rescinded.
So if we wanted to change anything like that, we would have to put forth a warrant article to rescind the first one and then ask to install the second, whatever it was that we wanted to do with that. But it could be done.
So
Something to
this,
think about. I'm not making a
Yeah.
proposal right now, but I'm just,
so this 30,000 would come out of this 56,000.
Correct.
Okay. Do
It's
we,
estimated.
estimated,
Okay.
estimated,
So if
yes.
they make 50,000 next year, 30,000, they're only gonna bring over to their reserve account 20,000.
Okay.
Because we got them back on track now.
Do you know what is in their account? What have they taken in for revenue?
For this year,
Yeah,
yeah, they're at 30,000.
okay,
So they still have a few more months to go.
okay.
I think we were $1,000 shy when we looked it up. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
you kind of have to be good with it. If it was something that the people voted on,
No, what they
Previous.
vote, okay, maybe I'm not making myself clear.
anything over,
So what they voted was anything the transfer station brings in for their metal money, okay?
they get to keep.
They get to keep. So that had always been merged, and then we were picking a number to offset the taxes out of that amount. You following me?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I-
And then they
yeah.
got to keep whatever the difference was.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But the warrant article says they can do that,
Mhm.
and it goes into that reserve. But we don't have to take any out if you don't want to. I wouldn't go any higher than 30, but I mean, people are paying to get rid of their box springs and things like that, so I feel that that's fair.
I feel we have a better hold on it now too than we did, because there was, every time I wrote it, how much? I don't know, $10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, now there's there's a price list. there's a-
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
You know,
It's more concise and
yeah, I'm comfortable with it.
Okay.
I don't know about you guys. I don't see-
Yeah, I am.
All right, so let's talk about overlay real quick, and I'll wrap it up.
Do we need a motion on the
Oh.
transfer station?
No.
Okay.
I'll just
Oh,
write
yeah,
it
that's
into the
right,
warrant
same
article. So overlay, you guys have always voted overlay, which is kind of weird. Overlay is,
we're kind of weird.
you are, I've never seen a town vote the overlay. It's basically a formula that Lori works with when she does the tax rate calculation. And so you guys have voted 15,000 in the past couple of years, and we've come as close as we can using that formula to it. So what do you want to see for overlay this year? It has to be a vote.
I'm not really certain that I understand the whole thing.
I
at
don't
all, overlay.
either, because I'm like,
Okay.
oh, we're spending money out of overlay. What is that? I think I ask Jeanette every time we have that.
Overlay is a cushion, right? So you're gonna commit taxes, you're gonna have abatements, you're gonna have, the other one, punch me now. So you're gonna have abatements, you're gonna have the other one coming in, so it's not always perfect. If it was perfect, you would have the amount of money that you needed, period. But because you got abatements, you got supplementals, and so forth and so on, you get a little cushion. The state allows you to have this little cushion,
That's right. I forgot.
okay? So we
Okay.
all good with overlay now?
Yes.
And we can use that money to,
Abate.
okay, so that would be like, we give the abatements,
You can,
it comes
you
out of,
can. There's a whole
Okay.
discussion on it, but yes, it
But
goes
you-
into your budget, the abatement, so it's a smokescreen. If you put your, this is what they say, you put your expense for your abatement, you can't use overlay to do your abatement, but guess what? It all comes out in the end. So I don't think it really matters, but, so they honestly, yes and no.
okay. And your recommendation is to go with 15,
I would go with
390.
15. We're not Laura's getting a real good handle on it. We're not in an assessment year. So I think 15 has worked out pretty good for us.
okay,
Yep, you do.
we need, okay, I'll make a motion for 15,390 for overlay.
Just say 15.
Oh, 15?
Yeah,
Okay,
we come as close as we can.
okay, 15,000.
For $390 if you want to kick us out the door.
Second.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
I,
And that's all I have.
Wow.
Way
make a
down.
motion,
Another
we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
All in favor? Nathan's motion.
Jeanette, nice job again.
Yes, thank you.
You kill it.
Um,